2 seconds left. It's going to come down.
We're making a third as he looks up. Making a finds the draw three. Stunning here from
Well, our first series of the day was a good one. We saw all 3 maps, not something we can say for the majority of the series we've had here so far at SCS6, but now we're going into another one that Blue, frankly, could also go to another 3 maps. We've got Nocturnes versus Aerial Academy.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting one. So the Nocturne, probably the team that I'm least familiar with. I've heard Pox. That's the only name that I'm really familiar with, and that's not for anything Siege related at all. But Aerial Arise, I know the names Domi, Frozen, Hypers, and then their 2 subs, obviously Adapt and Woods. I've been able to cast those before in SCS. Coming into this matchup, of course, I mean, we saw a great start in our last match from Okami, but that really, unfortunately, didn't matter. So honestly, I'm kind of anticipating something what we could see an early burst of potential from Aerial Arise Academy, and I mean, Nocturne, again, with that high level of experience, could come and shut it down.
Well, you take a look here at our bracket really quick. You see the way it's shaken out. Surf Esports, one of these T3 legend teams coming out here, dismantling the Wichita Wolves, a high-level CL team who couldn't even they didn't even stand a chance against Surf, and so they will move on to that winners match, while the elimination match, that's where Wichita Wolves will reside. Nocturnes, Aerial Academy. Nocturnes obviously the favorite because they are the CM coming in, and Aerial Academy, they work their way in from the quals, a roster that has been kind of compiled more last minute compared to Nocturnes. They have been grinding and working hard for quite some time. Both of these teams, though, are really looking forward to playing Surf. That is their mission. 2 teams get out of every single group. So even if you don't beat Surf, that's fine. You can have another chance at beating whoever ends up winning that elimination match. But both of these teams, they want to get through it. And to do so, they've got to get through this, what should be a spicy best of 3.
Oh, look, it's gonna be interesting regardless of the result, I would imagine. But looking at the teams, of course, a little bit more in depth. Nocturnes, I mean, like, they're the team that should be favorited coming into this. And look, as much as I could potentially talk about, I don't have much experience. They've reached CL playoffs. There you go. The information. Thank you, Ferme, for that box. Plus Slothy equals win. Can Structure go against Pugstack? I don't know. Like I said, the only player I know on this roster is Pox, and that is because he is a big fan of a particular ANZ Women's League player, and yeah, look, he's all I can say for sure is NA is a thirsty region.
Well, we know, I personally know Nocturnes quite well. They're a great team and have been tearing it up in CL for quite some time. A lot of roster changes recently, especially in the recent months, but let's take a look at Aerial Academy and what kind of T3 stack we have got compiled here. So we've got Spiker, Hypers, Frozen, Vina, and Dami. This is a very powerful team. You've got some CL experience, you've got a ton of T3 experience, and you've got a lot of fraggers who are going to tear people apart. It's a Pugstack 2.0, Spiker powered up with G Fuel, qualified with Hypers and Frozen. This is a team that is ready to go. And the question is, are they going to drown in the bigger competition they've got in front of them? Some of these players haven't seen this level of competition, or are we going to see them just tear through some of these upper teams that upset potential? Do they have it as well? That's what this matchup should hopefully give us some clarity on. To get additional clarity on exactly what this best of 3 looks like, Blue, why don't you run us through our map veto?
Well, to see where we're going to be taken, of course, we'll get it up on the screen. Chalet and Clubhouse banned out early. We head back to Oregon for our first map. Coastline for our second. Interesting that Nocturnes have picked that one up. Bank Villa banned out. And, well, we head all the way back to Cafe. It's almost like a complete reverse, other than the fact that we went to Chalet in the middle last time. Oregon, structure. Coastline, complete lack of structure. You throw the strat book out the window. It is a showcase of mechanical and fragging capability. So I'm excited for map 2.
I'm not going to lie, Blue, this is the exact opposite of what on paper I might have expected. I would expect Aerial Academy to be more frag focused and Nocturnes to be a little bit more disciplined. So the fact that Aerial is banning the more frag heavy aggressive maps like Chalet, not opting to Coastline, that's Nocturne's pick. I feel like everything is backwards right now, but it's encouraging to say that, well, Aerial Academy maybe they may be looking to play a more passive style of game, maybe not as crazy and unexpected as we might have expected. And for the side of Nocturnes, maybe they want to lean into that frag game. Maybe they want to get aggressive and just go crazy. I mean, obviously, with the predictions in front of you here, this is probably what we could expect, given that Nocturnes is a known quantity and Aerial Academy is a little bit lesser known, at least not the players. They're all incredibly well known. It just comes down to, are they known as a group and can they mesh as a group?
I mean, Crow, now dethroned as one of the top 2 predictors in the competition. He's hedging his bets here. He's also going to be a bit of a contrarian going with Aerial Rise. We could see Lynx carry on that 100% prediction rate right now, which, look, it is what it is. We'll leave Carter alone. But, I mean, yeah, it would be a silly bet to try and say that Nocturnes aren't the favored team in this. Yes, Aerial Rise. Yes, the players are capable. Yes, they can be that unknown quantity. And look, they've got some very, very capable gunners. But again, CL experience, CL, it's just a different beast than, you know, your average pug stack swinging every single corner. There is structure, there is discipline, there is strategy. Aerial Rise, I mean, yeah, it might get them one map, but I don't see that style of play picking up all 2, all 3, depending on how it goes.
Right. Well, Nocturne specifically, talking about this roster a little bit more. I know Lackey, Sykes, and Exod. That was this core part of the roster that has been, that was with Nocturnes for the last stage of CL. But now the addition of Pox and the addition of Slothy in particular, that is what I know I'm going to be paying attention to. How are those players going to be shaping up into this roster? What kind of role switches are we going to see as a result? And what kind of play style are we going to see? The Nocturnes play style, I mean, obviously, Blue, you're not familiar with NACL very much, but
I tune in from time to time.
Right, but
the timing disparity is a bit rough.
True. The Nocturnes playstyle, it has evolved, it feels like pretty substantially from the start of CL to now, where we have seen a couple of iterations of this team. You know, we had Marmalade in that IGL position not too long ago. We had Freak and Mo just absolutely decimating people and being insanely aggressive. On the other hand, we have seen this team go through a lot, and so I'm excited to see what this next iteration of the Nocturnes can bring forward against a team that has incredible talent, even if we may not know about how they play well as a team.
Yeah, and we can hear the audio cues. We're getting on to Oregon, so operator ban coming through again. Look, Jay, we're 100% for attacker bans at the moment. Do you reckon we carry that on with another Thatcher and Flores?
Honestly, probably. I mean, the Flores maybe not. I would love to see if Flores played here, not because he isn't powerful on Oregon. He is incredibly powerful on, especially these maps that lean, with a lot of that shield play. But who really knows? Maybe we won't see him taken off the board here. We actually see the Ying ban coming right off the bat from Nocturne, which is always interesting. I personally like to see the Ying played rather than banned, but clearly Nocturnes know something about this Aerial Academy team that I simply do not. Now, the ban on the side of Aerial Academy, that's going to be the Thatcher. That's going to be the basic stuff here. But Nocturnes, right now, they're thinking outside the box.
Thatcher, look, I mean, you'd be silly not to ban Thatcher on this map. He just enables so much defensively. Valkyrie, again, offers so much in the defense. One of the most effective defensive operators because of the black eye cams, the nitro cell, the pairing that you can achieve with it. Look, honestly, I don't blame Aerial Arise for going this direction.
Yeah, and with that, Wamai, as the final ban, we know what we are going to see and what, well, more so what we are not going to see. No magnets preventing those projectiles from taking down those shields, those Vulcan shields. We've still got our Goyo up. I expect to see a good bit of him, especially when we get towards that basement site and that dorm site. But for now, no Goyo in this lineup as we head towards the basement. Instead, it appears that Nocturnes will be favoring the Mozzie and the Maestro, two components that aren't always required, but Slothy will be going for a bit of a 6 pick and will still stray from those Vulcan shields, sticking with the Mute instead.
Flores in play, yeah. I mean, you'd almost have to guarantee the Mute. You'd be silly not to, knowing that Flores is up and available. Again, I don't think that it is the be-all and end-all of a map, but shootout, as opposed, I think you mean shout-out. Not a great start to the map. But yeah, I don't think Flores is the be-all and end-all of a map, but you'd be silly to allow those Roteros free entry into the building.
Right, you're going to want to do your best to hinder their progress. Obviously, you can shoot them out, and that's something, but like you said, mute jammers can be extremely helpful when that Flores is not banned. Spiker going to have to deal with that somehow. Of course, you can just have your team kind of seeing if they can take care of those mute jammers beforehand, but because there is a Thatcher ban in effect, that is going to be a lot easier said than done. We are going to see a little bit of a roam coming out from Nocturne, specifically Sykes, just throwing around those Mozzie pests for now, just trying to limit the intel that Aerial Academy could acquire as they enter the building. Seems to like a lot what we saw in our first best of 3. A lot of early pressure being applied to these attacking teams as they work their way into the building, and Sykes is going to go unchecked. A perfect headshot onto Hypers. The first kill of this series is a brutal one for Aerial Academy.
And he just snakes his way out of there too. A little duck under the shots as he's running through dining. That's a big kill. I mean, a Yana off the board early. It's answered back as Slothy does fall as well. No mute, no nitro, no late game potential in denying that plant. I mean, he was so far detached from side, I don't think it would have mattered too much. But, I mean, still, I think that favors Nocturnes without the Gemini on board, without the frag grenades or the Gon 6. That's a key piece of an attack.
Well, the kill and response is good still, but an even 4v4 without that utility, as you mentioned, Blue, not where you want to be if you're Aerial. Now, you've got a lot of time. You've still got more than 90 seconds. Minute 45 here to figure out how you want to approach this. Because the roam was a more aggressive roam, it wasn't focused on wasting time. Sykes' goal was to get a kill. He did that and accomplished that, but of course he couldn't keep his teammate of Slothy alive much longer. So with these X-Kairos pellets, we're going to hear the, Habana doing her good work, opening these hatches and getting some pressure down onto this site. I frankly have no idea what Exot is doing there. He's swinging out into the waiting arms of Spiker, who is more than happy to get that kill to put Aerial Arise now in the advantage.
Again, irony that Exod has GN at his name, because that's exactly what happened. Yeah, again, you're right. I don't know what he was doing, swinging that angle. Both SAS operators and 2 key plant denial operators off the board, which just stacks the pressure for Nocturnes right now in the 3 versus 4. Nitro Cell popped there. It was sitting on the landing and was never really going to achieve much in that situation, but heading to the final 45, 3 can still overcome that 4.
More pellets coming down now from Venatorial, hoping that more angles can maybe move some of these Nocturne defenders out of position, and it will. Sykes will be forced to relocate, and he will fall. Lackey forced back deeper into Freezer. Now, Pox really is the only one locking down this site, and yes, he's kind of by himself here, hoping to get Sykes back up on his feet, but that's going to be tough because this plant is now going down, and the onslaught of Aerial Academy pressure is, well, too much for this site to handle. Lackey, once again, he is being cut off in Freezer. Doesn't have a lot of options. Pox has to step up. He's got 81 bullets to do it, and he'll get 1 kill, but can't prevent Lackey from falling into his grave. Frozen, a quick trade. It's all up to Sykes. He's been picked back up, but at so low HP and with 30 seconds against 3 players, not looking good for him. He's got to get aggressive. He's got to go wild, and you've got someone sitting close around the corner. Frozen will get taken care of because he actually was the one who tried to push up. So Sykes has, well, a fighting chance, but with Venatorial on the hatch and with Dami nearby, Sykes is just letting this time tick away, not giving it much of a genuine effort, which is, well, that sucks to see, and he is simply going to run out of time. Didn't even matter if Dami got that kill. Not enough time to secure the defuse, and a great opening attack from Aerial Academy.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's rough for Nocturnal, but I think that does give them information going into the next round, of course, of just quite how Aerial Academy are going to be approaching things, what tools they're going to be utilizing to try and get into the site. And they do opt to go up to dorms rather than replaying the basement. So they know that there are inherent weaknesses. We see that Mira coming out for the dorms hold, and as much as there has been argument about Mira placings on this site, it's still a very scary operator to have to battle against.
Well, heading upstairs, not really changing up the lineup on the aerial side, sticking with the Flores, sticking with the Yana, keeping the nades that both the Yana and the Maverick have at their disposal. And going with the dual hard breach is always a good strategy here. Often we will see that hard breach ban on Oregon. Not always, because now there's a Flores in play, and if Nocturnes want to ban the Ying, then that means we're going to have 2 hard breachers left up every time, and that means that Ariel can now approach this site from 2 directions. As we normally see, you've got a games approach, and you've got a attic approach. And Here we are seeing the defensive setup from Nocturnes, and Blue, there's that shield you were mentioning earlier, that forward shield facing towards that trophy side.
Yeah. Well known tier 2, well, tier 1 player now in ANZ. They recently qualified for the Oceanic Nationals. Deptra loves playing the little pixel angle on the left-hand side of that shield towards trophy door. Loves playing it with the TCSG as well. He's a bit of a demon. Hit some nutty shots with that gun. But right now, I don't think Nocturnes are going to be quite as audacious as that last-minute setup coming through as the round is underway. And I'm keen to see Pox make this Maestro go to work, because the older 5.56 is such a phenomenal gun. 81 round mag, the Evil Eye cams as well, such a magnificent gadget. Honestly, it's one of those few operators that could single-handedly shut down a plant attempt without having to commit to a gunfight.
Well, speaking of those gunfights, we're not seeing any Nocturnes presence on this tower side. Again, thinking back to that first series, we saw a lot of pressure being put by the defense into T3, especially Nocturnes not electing to do that. Instead, the extension of this dorm's pressure is just one floor below, lurking down and meeting in Z, in Kitchen, making sure that if Arial Academy do want to go for a quick push, that there is, well, a explosive surprise waiting for them beneath their feet. At least you've got the 1C4 in the hands of Sykes, an impact for Slothy to use to possibly open up an avenue just to get a good line of sight onto the planter, or have some good angle towards an entry point of these attackers. One of those entry points will be briefly contested by a lack solo spot before eventually falling back.
Sykes with the relocate down to the classroom, though, that could be deadly if they haven't scouted it out. Deny any sort of push to the walk-in closet, even a Nitro play as well. And you see the depth of the roam Nocturnes are looking to achieve. Those late round executes could well and truly upset Spiker. Swinging past the main lobby door, wants to rappel up onto the second floor and get into master bedroom. This position is so key. If Sykes can do some damage with that Nitro cell, if he can, honestly, even a couple of shots could throw this entire round out of skew for Arial Academy.
Oh, that's a good use of the Rotero, trying to just hop up by those ADSs, and it will deal with them. That means Hypers is now cleared to throw this nade in. It'll rebound off that attic wall, but Pox was a little bit too far back to actually be affected by that frag. But he's now in danger because he's got several attackers who know of his position and trying to engulf him. But a beautiful C4 from below. Sykes finishes off Spiker and downs the planter of Venatorial, who now is going to rely on his teammates to pick him back up and get this diffuser back in hand. Frozen will rotate all the way around because of it, but unfortunately the Habana will get taken care of in the meantime. Sykes proving massive, but now getting himself into a bit of trouble. Here in master bedroom, caught out in the open, Frozen quickly claps back, and it's going to be all up to Slothy on the defense. Good pre-fire and headshot onto Dami. Now a 1v1 with 14 seconds. Frozen has to get this bomb down, or simply has to seek this frag. Instead, it's Slothy the one seeking this frag, but also avoiding, given that he knows exactly where Frozen is positioned. Time ticking away. Frozen cannot get this push. He's going to have to stick it, and he knows that is a quick way to find his grave, so he'll pop right off, and Nocturnes will take round 2.
I mean, such a great use of the change that came with the later season. Now Maestro cams can be moved, even if, Pox had died in that situation. Just feeding that info through, being able to carry it on, going into the close of the round. We saw those pings cutting through the site, giving Slothy that information that he needed to play the wait game. Tucks into a corner, doesn't want to throw away the round off the chance of maybe picking up a frag. And it's a case of, they played the objective. They didn't do anything unnecessary in that situation.
I got to admit, Blue, I was a little bit worried because it looked like initially like Slothy was pushing out and actually was hunting for that frag, but once we saw all the intel that was there, he was just doing, the ring around a rosy, just trying to avoid as much as possible, just getting into Frozen's line of sight. He knew that Frozen wanted to hunt the frag, and he just did not want to provide that opportunity. So very well played there in the closing moments. We saw a lot of risky play from Sykes in that round. A troubling constant here in just these first two. But it has paid off overall for Nocturnes. It did get messy. Sykes eventually lost his life because of that over-aggression, but he also was able to get a couple of kills. He's already had 4 kills in 2 rounds with that very style of play, so something to keep an eye on, especially if Arial get wise to that, then I think he might be in a bit of trouble if he keeps that strategy up.
Intrigued is all I can say with this cap can coming into play. I have a guy that I usually cast with. He's a big fan of the Kapkan, mostly because he's also Russian. But I mean, it's one of those things. You in the situation, you get to this level of play, a lot of teams will be like, no, there's no chance there's a Kapkan in play. No one's silly enough to play a Kapkan. Then all of a sudden there is one in play, and they have to start checking doors, and it distracts them, and it takes away from them, and then you get to the that final 30 seconds, you have to push for an execute, and all of a sudden your entire team's blowing up because they didn't check the doorway in time. I really rate this from Nocturne. They could do some real damage with it.
Well, Slothy's actually the only one to take a bit of damage. He can't walk into his own EDD, so I just suspect it was bullets that dealt him about 50, 60 HP worth of damage, and he'll fall back as a result. But look at Sykes. Once again on the prowl, as is Lackey. We're seeing a heavy roam here from Nocturnes. Unlike their previous basement defense when it was just Sykes on that roam, they're committing a good bit of utility to this. I wouldn't say Pox is roaming per se, but he is still sitting in a more forward, aggressive position on the top of those laundry stairs, just waiting for someone from Arial to think it's safe to walk into the building, and then he'll have an Alda to greet them.
Honestly, the big question being, where does Slothy throw this last EDD? Like, he's sitting with it in pocket. They are looking for the players upstairs. And the swing there, Spiker is going to win it despite taking the opening shot of that volley. Frozen doubles down with a kill on the Lackey as well. And Nocturne, they are being met and matched at every step of the way.
Yeah, the aggression didn't pay off here. Both Lackey and Slothy on that roam shut down. Sykes, who was also up above, just hasn't been able to make much of an impact. As such, he'll have to rotate down below because now it's a 5v3 and Arial Academy are quickly seizing control of this entire map. Pox's position appears to be known because Venatorial is staring right at him, at least from split. You've got some bullets from above, but here it comes Pox. Turns out he wasn't known because bam, a nice kill on Tadami, and he will drop away unscathed. Now though, oh, careful here, Pox. He's putting himself in a do-or-die position. Instead of rotating back to the site, he puts himself in the corner, but eventually starting to fall back. But someone's got his cutoff. Doesn't matter. Pox gets it anyway.
Does not care. Swings, shoots, gets the kill. Frag grenade drop attempt there from Frozen. I respect that. If it had bounced wrong, that would have been his own demise that he was spelling there. But once again, we see that line drain in the sand. Arial Academy, 3 players over. Looking to push through E-Box, in through elbow as well. Pox falls. Exod looking for an angle. A ripper of a headshot onto Frozen. Sykes for the swing, gets the down. It's all onto the one, and Sykes swings with a follow-up. Secondary pistol plays from the Australian operator, and Nocturne get themselves another key round.
Well, a key round, and honestly a surprising one. That was a 5v3 for Arial Academy, and well, they could only manage one more kill by the end of that. Troubling that they weren't able to use that advantage, well, to a better effect. And Nocturne more than happy to take that win. Playing very well on that site with only 3 players remaining. It was Sykes and it was Pox especially who chose to not just sit on that site, but to step up and get incredibly aggressive. And that was enough to equalize the man count. Just one unexpected, bold play from a maestro, no less. Generally, that nice, thick anchor operator you want just planting his butt in a corner and waiting for something to happen. Instead, he was the one running around and fragging out. So more power to Pox for making that one happen. And with that, Nocturnes, they will move up to that 2-1 and take their first lead here.
The junket in play. I love to see it. I really do. It's such a great versatile operator. It means you don't have to bring one of those secondary, you can substitute it in for a smoke. It still achieves largely the same thing. You got the shield, you got the plant denial and the Shamika launcher, and you got a gun that can edit sights, much like the M590, but effective at far further range. As we get ready to get into round 4, Nocturnes, they want to keep this momentum rolling. They don't want to risk going a 2-0 today.
Yeah, of course, on the defensive side, they just want as many rounds as they could possibly secure because Arial already having secured 1. Theoretically, they only need 1 more to consider it, well, quote-unquote, a job well done, you could say. And they're going to look to get aggressive here on this attack. They know what to expect. At least they should. Every round now, they have seen Sykes over by this shower's corridor, regardless of the bomb site, try to get frags, and at the very least shoot a couple of drones out. But look at this, Blue. Look at the drone count from Arial. We are, what, 30 seconds in? They've already lost 5 drones, but I mean, I guess they've gotten 2 frags because of it, so you can't be that mad.
Yeah, 5 drones, 2 kills. You take those at the end of the day. Again, it's that question. What? Okay, Lucky.
Oh, my
what a
Lord.
shot. Good night, Spiker. I don't even think he knew what hit him just there. And as we are getting further, we're still in the first minute here, Jay. There's 3 drones remaining. And it's a 3 versus 4. This round is just a bizarre one. Exxon taking some damage. Lackey swinging. What a headshot, Lackey! The kills this round have been absolute monsters.
Well, we said that 5 drones, now 7 drones lost. For 2 kills is worth it. But now the fact that you've tied it up back in an even 3v3 without almost any intel left to use, you're going to find a bit of trouble here because Lackey is a madman and you don't know where he's located. A triple kill for the alibi. That shot was less flashy than the last, but it's still a kill. And this time it puts Nocturnes into the advantage. They now know where Dami's coming from, these back tower stairs. Venatorial may be unknown, but also not close enough to Dami to work together and actually play a trade if the situation deems it necessary. So Nocturnes, now they're going to be the ones confident. They're going to be the ones moving around this map, and Arial have to be careful here.
There's a single drone in play, and neither of the alive players control it. So I can only imagine it's not providing a heck of a lot of information in the 3 versus 2. And again, getting down to the dying moments of the round, Nocturne can feel insanely confident. The shield dealt with on the rotate between the 2 sites, but it doesn't really matter. They've still got a lot of utility to deny any sort of significant push. Dummy pushing down big tower stairs, but Slothy is below. The ping's coming through. They do have the information as Dummy looks to push on further. It's Lackey for a 4th. He might get the full ace here, but no. It's a push from the other direction. Exod takes the closer, but I mean, Lackey absolutely dumpstering Aerial Arise.
Yeah, that was quite a performance from Lackey up above. The first shot, I don't even know what happened. It seemed like he saw the drone, and as he shot the drone, he realized, okay, I'm probably about to be swung on here. And just pre-fired at head level with just gorgeous crosshair placement and got the kill. That's what it felt like. Maybe there was a call out, maybe there was some intel, but a 4K, regardless, is a very, very nice display of individual skill. That'll give Nocturnes their 3rd round in a row, and we're really seeing here how experience matters. How experience working together as a team matters, because now we have seen 2 rounds in a row where Arial Academy start off well. Start off very well. This round was another 2 opening kills for them, another 5v3. That's back-to-back rounds where Arial have secured the 5v3 and then have lost it, turns claw their way back. Obviously, that takes a lot of skill and a lot of coordination from an experienced Nocturnes roster, but Arial Academy are getting a little bit flustered and maybe a little bit clumsy in those advantage positions.
Yeah, I mean, it could be partially that mentality. You're a tier 3 team playing up against a CL team, and that can be a bit overwhelming. But you'd have to imagine at this point, these guys have been playing. I know at least Spiker, Dummy, and Hypers have. They've been playing against those tier 3 players for the longest time. Tier 2 players, sorry. Even tier 1 experience, player experience as well. So they know what they should be expecting. They know that they can go toe-to-toe with these guys. So you'd have to hope that nerves aren't the issue.
Well, once again, we see that Nocturnes are playing this roam game, and they're playing it well, at least so far. Only 30 seconds into this round, so, can't give them credit for time waste or frags just yet. But as I say that, there it is. One of the first times we've seen the Finka all day, and unfortunately, Spiker not able to utilize her at all because he's already dead. Now, Hypers will respond, dealing with Slothy, taking care of the Melusi, one petulant roamer who just could not be dealt with earlier, finally gone. But don't forget about Sykes, also a factor. Lackey, also a factor. This is a Dorms defense, and you've got 2 roamers still lurking down below. Not to mention you've got Exod, who's willing to take engagements, swinging on these players, trying to work their way in from Showers Hall.
But I mean, you talk about picks as an opening one. That is probably their best pick. NOKTURNS could have picked up Spiker, the Finker off the board early. Just think of the late round impact that a Finker does have. You're not going to be able to stem yourself up going to the dying moments. You're not going to be able to have that longevity in the round. You can't run into a site over stim to try and contest things. And that's huge. You lose a Malusi, who cares? Utility's already down. Yeah, it's a gun off the board, but the job's largely being done at this stage. And, well, NOKTURNS, they can feel a little bit more comfortable at that frag grenade being prepped here by Hypers. Domi going to take some of that damage as well. The push-up white stairs, they're looking to prep themselves with this execute.
But watch out, you've got someone coming up from behind. It's Sykes, and Hypers will be caught sleeping. One kill was able to be found, and Lackey will be dealt with, but at what cost? Now you've got a threat behind you. And the threat you're applying to the bomb site is weakening. Great shot from Pox, dealing with one of those attackers who was just trying to get that rappel on that kid's window. And now Dami, he's going to be forced to step up and do all the work himself. He'll get one onto Pox, losing his teammate in the process. He knows he's got to find two more. And Sykes from behind, the player that Dami should have known exactly where he was coming from, will be the one to get that fatal blow. That is 4 rounds unanswered from NOKTURNS.
Like, the concerning thing for me is, I understand my notes probably aren't quite correct, but if they are, the last 4 rounds, Arial or Eyes have found the opener and still lost it. They've still ended up losing the round, which is a very rare statistic to be seeing from any team. And, I mean, the fact that it keeps happening, it should be. They need to find some way to transition these early advantages into round wins, because they just keep letting it slip.
Yeah, so this round, it was a NOKTURNS opener. It was Slothy on the roam.
Yeah.
But you are right, the last 3 have been Arial openers, and the last 2, round 3 and 4, have been not only 1 opening kill, but 2 before NOKTURNS could get a single kill back. This one, finally, it was NOKTURNS who got the opening kill, and they won the round as a result. But you're right, that pattern, it has emerged. It has been present for this map so far. And because NOKTURNS have been using, their guns to their advantage, and because they've been able to just put themselves in good positions, Arial, they haven't been able to make the transition from whatever good entry they make to a good execute. That's that transition period in the round that I think a lot of these younger teams struggle with. And it's weird because Arial Academy isn't a young team. I mean, yes, in terms of age-wise they are, but in terms of experience, they are not. I mean, you look at the team on the right, and you may recognize some, as most players in T3 will recognize these names more than the players on the left. I mean, you've got 2 incredibly competent rosters here, and NOKTURNS is the one right now just winning the mind games, winning in the fragging department, winning in the strategy. It's not too late for Arial. They only need 1 more round to really accomplish what they were looking to do on this Oregon attack, but just the way we've seen this pattern progress in the last 4 rounds, Blue, like you said, it's just not the best place for Arial to be.
Slothy, again, with another opener there. Domi, this time being taken out. But I mean, the wild thing is, you look historically at the matchup we've just had. So last match, Khan & Co., as lucky it does go down to a frag grenade. Khan & Co. versus Okami. The reason that Okami was struggling is because they'd start well, they'd stall out, not do anything, and then it allowed Khan & Co. to adapt and make those changes necessary. Here, Arial Academy, they are having phenomenal starts to round. Unfortunately, they just can't quite figure out what to do in the chaos, in the moment where they're looking for that execute, and NOKTURNS just have that better experience. They know what to do, and they're able to shut it down. So maybe they can pull it together going into the second half when they have that defensive siding, but right now, they just don't know what to do when it comes to crunch time.
Well, look at what NOKTURNS are doing right now. We've got a double sneaky tower play, but he's going to be caught looking the other way. Thankfully, you've got a teammate right behind you. That's the point of playing as a team like that, and, well, it looks like get the trade and response. So now we're in an even 3v3, but Sykes knows where the rest of this, or at least some of this attacking pressure is coming from. He felt a couple of bullets as he rotated out of those tower stairs, so he knows that there's at least 1, but there are 2 attackers over on that north side. Now there's 1 on the west side. That's Hypers, sitting in Freezer. Also going up against a Smoke, sitting in Freezer. Exod with a shotgun. Now a smoke canister coming out to see if Hypers will be forced to relocate, and it will. Textbook play from Exod, using that Toxic Babe and getting the frag as a result. And here comes Pox, now playing aggressively. Frozen exposing his feet to the Kaid, and Pox will take advantage. Last player standing being Toriel, pushing in from Freezer, and 3 players are staring right at him.
They know there's not much you can do. And it's all right. He's going to push up just a little bit, maybe look to take a couple of frags. But yeah, Sykes watching the angle. Honestly, it's just genuinely impressive. You look at the way that they're playing this. You got Aerial Rise, who are just trying to play Siege. They're trying to play their way. Exod's playing sleight of hand. He throws a toxic canister, detonates it, swings, and finds the kill. It's just that depth of understanding that is shining through for Nocturne right now.
Well, it's that and it's frags. Look at Sykes right now. From the very first round, we saw what type of game Sykes was going to play. We saw the aggression and we saw how it was working against Ariel Academy. And there it is. You see the double-digit kills, and we are only on round 7. Just worked our way through round 6. So at the half, a very impressive performance, to say the least, from Sykes. And Ariel, given that they are down 4 rounds here, they have to make an impressive comeback on defense. A mirror image of the map that we just saw, our decider map in our first series. If you are just tuning in, we also saw a 5-1 half delivered by Karn and Co.
This is our third 5-1 half in a row.
This is, yes, it's our third 5-1 half in a row. And each time, the team with the 1 has not made much of a comeback. They've almost, they got a couple rounds here and there. 7-2, 7-3. 7-2 on Chalet, 7-3 on our previous Oregon. So Ariel will be hoping to be the trailblazers of the week and really make a more dramatic comeback.
Well, Sledge was hovered there by Lackey, but he picks up a Jackal instead, and I can understand wholeheartedly why they did that. Reading into the basement play, you don't need a Sledge, you don't need any, you don't need that sort of role field, no Buck, no Sledge. Go with a Jackal, even if you do require it, even if we do go to a site where that soft breach is required. He's got the secondary shotgun, but you can also flush out these off-site roamers. And not to mention the fact that the C7E is kind of a laser beam right now.
Well, we talked about, Blue, the aggression on defense from Nocturnes. Let's talk about it on the attack. Let's see exactly if they want to translate that one, right? Because we do see Sykes on the solo entry. A couple of drones, hot drones at his feet to guide him in. But he's not going to come up with anything but map control right now. In CL, our beautiful analysts, Connor and CJ, they came up with an award at the end of the season. They call it the Space Maker Award. And that's exactly what Sykes is doing right now, is earning right now, taking a ton of space on this map, being that entry player, to be the one willing to take these first engagements. But if Ariel Academy aren't giving those engagements to them, then no worries. You can just take that space with confidence, move ahead, clear out this map, and gear up your team for this push, because within 60 seconds, Nocturnes know that they have map control. All of it. Because Ariel are not contesting them except for this basement site.
Well, I mean, it's probably one of the more passive starts to a round we've had today. There's 10 players still alive in the lobby. Exod, the only one taking damage, and I'm pretty sure that was from the Artilla Claws. But Sykes, I mean, just talk about laser focus, just daring anyone on Ariel Academy to peek bottom of Freezer Stairs, and Spiker is toying with it. But at that range, I don't think that the M590 is going to be nearly as effective as the LMGE.
Well, Spiker has to be careful because I think Exod is still working on that hatch above. Couldn't tell if he opened it already. Did he get it open? No, he's still struggling with this. So now that he's finally gotten it open, that is going to force those defenders back, and it will give Sykes the access to Freezer that he finally wants. But, I mean, I talked about the timing earlier. Just getting this player down the Freezer steps, about 10 feet, took 60 seconds. So while early progress was made, you can see that Ariel Academy, their defense, its strength is not necessarily how far it takes map control, but how strong they can hold just these smaller positions. But, well, now they've got a troubling future for them, because they're already going to lose a player with that nade. Hypers responds, though. Good headshot onto Slothy. Now good C4 takes down Pox, and Lackey is gone as well.
And Toriel, that kill on the Lackey makes things incredibly hard right now. The missed timing there on the Freezer nade setup. Sykes swinging, holding down Mouse 1, but in the 2 versus 4, and with 20 seconds remaining, there is a separation. No potential for the trade, of course. Something's got to give, and unfortunately it's Exod the fall, and it's just an absolute shutdown. Ariel Academy, we are seeing a showcase, the power of Mira on display today.
And I won't lie to you, Blue, it's a little frustrating to see Mira work so well. Like, I get that she's powerful, but I was under the impression that we would see attacking teams that knew how to deal with her, and right there, I mean, that was just Mira winning the round again. because Nocturnes took a little bit too long maybe to push into Freezer, was it at that point they realized there was a Mira, or did they know that before and they still took that long? It's hard to know exactly why, because had Nocturnes had better intel, there's no chance they would have pushed Freezer and Laundry. Both Mira windows were put on the wall, not right away, but pretty quickly into the round. And what that means is, if Nocturnes had known, had the intel working for them, they would have seen, okay, there's a Mira facing Freezer, and there's a Mira window facing Laundry. There is no reason you should ever push that position anymore. You have to go for a pillar take. You have to. And as much as I would say, oh, well, Nocturnes had the time, they had the resources, they could have done it, it is so much harder, and there's no reason to make yourself go through the extra steps if you can just realize that and then go to the other side of the map and go for a pillar take. Simply, Nocturnes made the wrong choice there. Obviously, the execution was poor as well, but right off the bat, they were already at a disadvantage by choosing to walk into 2 black mirrors.
I think it's also a case of basement on Oregon has to be the strongest site for a Mira. Oh my god! Hypers! Lackey doesn't even know what hit him!
Okay, that's a way to start. Hypers is just like, okay, well, Mira's good. I'm just gonna swing now. I want to get these frags. I got a couple in the last round. Let's get a couple more. But I do like what you were saying, Blue. Like, there are some sites more than others that Miras are incredibly powerful on, and the basement of Oregon is definitely one of them. This top floor site, much less so. They're easier to deal with, and they're more for intel, not necessarily like for sitting right behind and swinging around them.
I respect what Spiker was trying to do. Unfortunately, the concussion makes that just a little bit harder. But yeah, I mean, it's one of the few sites where you can't contest a Mira window vertically, so the basement is just so strong for another frag grenade from Exod. Looking to set themselves up for that push. They've lost Spiker, so their Nitro Cell off the board. Another frag grenade being tossed in to clear some of the utility. And Nocturnes, I mean, they've recovered well from that initial pick that Hypers found.
Still some work to do. Thankfully, they've got a lot of time, and I'm hoping that they get moving a little bit before that 60-second mark. We saw how much progress they made in round 7, and then they just kind of stalled out in the mid-round waiting for something to happen. They need to make it happen themselves as an attacking team. That's your responsibility. And if they don't want to be caught off guard by a potential flank from someone like Dami, who still sits down below, they have got to get a move on. And unfortunately, well, they're just sitting back and looking to obtain some intel. They are allowing that time for Sykes to rotate around towards the double window to provide a good crossfire on this site, cut off any rotations, and make sure that if you do indeed push in towards this game site, that nobody can go for the wide swing from Attic.
Sykes' position is key here. If he can find that kill, if he can find the opener, it would turn this into a very, very solid approach for the round. Nocturnes, pings coming through. They know a few of those positions. At least they have an idea. Exiled with a big kill onto Frozen, clearing him out from that Kid Storm's position. Utility dump, Nitro Cell tossed. Hyper's looking to try and cut off the push from Trophy, but Slothy wins that. Slothy's in for 2. Can he make it a third as he pushes through? No. It's a team kill. Sykes just getting a bit over-ambitious. Too keen and too quick on the trigger. Now Dummy, top white stairs. We'll hear the audio cue. It's now effectively a 1 versus 1, but Sykes has the window. Swing, ping. Can't quite hit the shots, and now Dobby knows that his position is being threatened. Not much he can do, given the positioning and the setup at the site. Nocturnes, despite the unfortunate team kill there, a very, very solid round.
And despite losing that opening engagement to a brutal spawn peek from Hypers, no less, and bouncing back, like you said, Blue, very impressive from them to maintain that composure through the round, and as a result, they are going to be on match point very, very early in this map. This is also, even more concerning, Arial Academy's map pick. And to come out on the attacking side on your own map and fumble the bag, per se, not the best place to start SCS6. Not the best place to start your season when you wanted to make a name for yourselves, when you wanted to come out and take the fight to some of these invited teams who you expected to be strong. Right off the bat, Nocturnes are proving to be that strong force that we expected. That last attacking round It certainly wasn't the cleanest, but once they found a way to work the man advantage back in their favor, it really was all up from there.
Look, I have to say, I feel bad for Slothy. He walks into the site, starts force-feeding Aerial Academy their own teeth, and then Sykes' team kills him. It was a hell of a shot from Sykes, but, I mean, the momentum Slothy had generated by that point, I'm sure he would have got another kill at least.
Yeah, and...
10 seconds remaining.
Well, I mean, maybe we'll see Slothy continue his success, or maybe, you know, that was enough to squash the aggression out of him for now. Obviously, always good to get the banter up in the comms, and especially when you're almost securing the round at that point. Such a play that Slothy was able to secure there. And he'll be looking to remedy that again. You know, with this cushion that Nocturnes have established, I expect to see a couple more flashy plays, a couple more big shots from this team. And, well, hopefully they will be able to get that one towards his dorm site shortly. Something I just noticed, Blue, is I believe Lackey... I think his only 4 kills have been from 1 round, if I'm not mistaken.
his quad kill round where Exod stole the ace.
Right. So Lackey's been quiet since then. You know, Exod's been relatively quiet as well. Did you say he's lacking?
Yeah, Lackey's been lacking.
Nice, nice. Original there. Good.
That's why they pay me the caster bucks.
Exactly. Well, we'll see how that Jackal comes into play here, because obviously that first round there wasn't much of that Aerial Academy roam. There was none, in fact. But this time we're seeing a little bit of that extension. Both Hypers and Dami, in fact, looking to maybe get a little bit of a roam going, get some early kills.
Frag grenade just inside the door to clear out the utility. Both ADSs and the Banshee. The answer comes back in the form of Nitro Cell, but again, not quite hitting the mark. 2 quick kills. Pox and Exod take down Dami and Hypers. No Jaeger, no Mozzie, but Spiker at least able to answer back with 1. Slothy, unfortunately, won't get a chance to keep that momentum going and find any more kills. Shut down by Sykes last round, shut down by Spiker this round. Going, oh, Frozen. Oh, Frozen, you can't be whiffing on drones like that. Still keeps himself alive, luckily, but that could have been a horrendous frag to lose.
And I know we talked a lot about the drone game on the side of Ariel when they were on the attacking side, but to look at it from Nocturnes, look at the difference. Rather than having 2, 3 drones and nobody to drive them, you've got 6 still. And there's a minute left on the clock. A complete 180 to the kind of attacks we saw from Aerial Academy. Part of that experience, part of that, they've already gotten 2 kills on this entry because, you know, Aerial just wasn't able to hit their shots. Maybe they're just not hitting those shots on the drones as well. But now we reach under that 50-second mark. Nocturnes, well, Lackey knows it's time to step up. He will get his 5th kill. Pox will get 1 as well. And Venatorial, a quick trade, but now cut down to 1 HP. Good shot there onto Pox. But now he has to find 2
That's diffuser
more.
control. That's diffuser control. He knows where it is. He can look to play the vert potentially with the toxic canister. He's going to rotate all the way through Armory Stairs. They've been cut up for position. Exod has an inkling that they might be rotating around there, but Venatorial can't deny the diffuser being picked up, so he's still stuck top Armory Stairs. The plant is going down, and with Lackey covering, Lackey, unfortunately, has only found 1 kill since that quad earlier in the game. The jiggle peak coming through. Venatorial has to hit some crispy headshots. Can't do it. Lackey shuts it down, and Nocturne will take a big win here on map 1.
Dominance on their opponent's map pick. A statement made by Nocturnes that they are not here to mess around. They want that Pro-Am spot happening in a few months' time, and they are looking to just set the rhythm and keep things consistent. What a way to start. 7-2. Good Lord. Starting out on the defensive side, of course, is a little bit easier, especially when you drop that 5-1 half. And unfortunately, even a stacked roster like Aerial Academy appears to be, just could not quite hang in there. And as a result, getting only 2 rounds on their own map is not the way you want to begin, but could be a very important best of 3 for them.
Yeah, I mean, look, at least I suppose going on to Coastline, Aerial Arise can show some of that mechanic capability. They don't have to worry about too deeply going into setups and making sure that they have X, Y, and Z set up so they can hold a position like Elbow or Attic or something like that. So, I mean, it's pressure off their shoulders. Unfortunately, it also comes off the back of a 7-2 loss on Oregon, which was their map pick. So, look, you take your wins where you can. Unfortunately, you have to take them with your lumps. But, look, prospects are high going into Coastline.
Right, and as they head into Coastline, we will take a quick break before we do that. Another massive thanks to one of our sponsors, Mavix Gaming Chairs. And in fact, a massive holiday sale going on with Mavix Gaming Chairs as well. They've got a nice air-conditioned chair, apparently, that I've heard so many rumors about. So check that out, because you can get a nice little sale for the holiday season. You can also get guaranteed holiday delivery with orders placed by December 20th. 11 days to get that order in for guaranteed delivery by the holidays. You can save 4%, 5%, 7%, 9%, and you can get free shipping. All of that combining with your NSG promo code NSG55, that saves you an additional $55. So a lot of amazing discounts for the holiday sale at www.mavix.com. That is MAVIX.com. Stick around. We'll be right back after this short break.
Hi, my name is Dauntless. I'm the head coach for NOKTURNS. The importance of having competition in the offseason kind of helps with the team having something to do besides the scrimming. Scrimming becomes tedious after a while if you have nothing that you're really playing for. Extra money doesn't really hurt, and it's also really like game day experience for the new players that we've had to pick up in the offseason. We've had a lot of makeshift IGOs all through the 3 stages. Love Emma and Exod for stepping up and doing that for us. But we were really in this offseason looking to pick up a lot more vocal leaders for the team to kind of help with decision making those in those late rounds that we really struggled with. A lot of the strengths are dealing with like structure versus chaos. There's not much structure to the T3 teams, so we're interested in seeing how our structure will compete against them. Some of their strengths are like unpredictability. A lot of them prefer to take gunfights rather than with a teammate or with a buddy system, so using that to their advantage, we'll see how we stand up against it. Some of the weaknesses, depending on the gun skill, a little too much over like game planning. We think we have the strength when it comes to like game planning over plus the gun skill, if that makes sense. It's actually Pedro, coach for Investigation File. We obviously were teammates back on Guidance Gaming. We just have like a little friendly banter. We just have fun with it. Always wanting to beat Pedro when we come up to it. That would be Space Station. I really looked up to Redeemer whenever he was playing on them, the Echo main. Watching him play and playing support really showed me what it took to kind of be like that support player, that team player. Always loved watching Redeemer play. That would be Exod. Exod is probably the most determined, dedicated player I have teamed with since probably ARIAL. He's always early to practice. I asked the team to be there 15 minutes early. He's there 30. He's always late to leave. He's always asking questions. He's always trying to set up auto views. He's got a school schedule. He's done multiple roles. He's done everything with his team in his power. He is determined to try to make it to Pro League, and I love him for that. That would be Lackey. Lackey gets absolutely no credit for the type of player that he is. He's got insane gun skill. The criticism that I've given him over the last 3 stages, he has taken and he has run with it. He has become a very consistent, dedicated entry fragger. I can't see him being in CL much longer. Like, he's the old dog of the team. Like, he brings a lot of experience. He has a lot of gun skill. He's always looking to help Sykes. He's looking to help new players. I wouldn't be here without Lackey. Chocolate chip mint, and I will not be told otherwise. It's either that or the triple chocolate brownie fudge or whatever. That's some good stuff. I just game outside of Siege. I spend time with my friends, watching movies or TV shows. I'm actually trying to get through Ted Lasso right now with one of them, and it's a really good show.
There once was a tournament during the season of snow, filled with contenders of might, with names Deez, Ligma, and Joe. The road was a trying one, wrists aching with cramps. In the end, victors rose. We call them Winter Champs. Before they departed, they left us these words. Our journey's just begun. All thanks to the nerds.
B3, make that a 1v2.
2 seconds left. It's gonna come down.
Favor making a third as he looks up. Make it up. He finds the draw three. Stunning here from.
Well, map 1 blue was decisive for Nocturnes, 7-2 on Oregon, making Arial Academy on their own map pick look a little out of their element.
Yeah, I mean, Nocturnes just came into it with a game plan. We saw the Ying banned out. I don't know if that was the linchpin as to why things came apart for Arial Arias Academy, but I mean, Nocturnes were the ones in the driver's seat. They knew exactly what they needed to be doing every single step of the way, and a 5-1 half translated into a 7-2 win means that Arial Academy were only given so much ground to work with, and Nocturne weren't going to give them an inch more.
Well, I mean, speaking of not giving them an inch, it seemed that Nocturnes on defense, the half that they secured 5 rounds, didn't even look like they wanted to give Arial Academy any single ability. I mean, to get even in the map, they didn't even want to let them get in the building. We saw Sykes aggressive on that roam. We saw him hunting for those kills. Lackey as well. We saw him on the alibi getting a gorgeous quad kill. We saw a lot of roam, it really felt like Nocturnes turned Oregon into Coastline. And what concerns me the most, Blue, is that we're headed Coastline next. I don't even know what we can expect from Nocturnes, but I mean, I think it's going to be pretty brutal unless Arial Academy somehow find a way to shut down this pressure.
Yeah, I mean, going into Coastline, a lot of those constraints are dropped. They don't have to worry too deeply about the strat book. They can be a little bit freer flowing. And there you go. You can see exactly what happened on your screen. Sykes taking out the MVP 1.42 rating at 10 and 5 KD. I mean, the guy was literally, it was Oregon was his playground. He was just having fun on the Mozzie.
Yeah, and Dami having considerably less fun. 4-7, 0-2 on the entry, maining, of course, Jaeger and Zofia. Really the player that we are looking towards to be that guiding light for Arial Academy. That central, I wouldn't say voice, but at the very least, finding his impact on the frags, right? That is where Dami excels. We know Dami to be that player, and even surrounded by such talent that he's got there, everyone seemed to be, to use this pun, frozen in place, unable to get past the Nocturnes' aggression and what they threw at them here. So heading into Coastline, Arial Academy, they get their pick of side. They want attack. They've got to start off strong. Because if they let NKG, if they let Nocturnes do what they did on Oregon and roam and just shoot better, it's going to be over quickly, frankly. And I want to see this one go all the way. If it could go to map 3, hell, I'd love that. But given what we saw in map 1, if that translates at all to Coastline, red flags all around.
Okay, Osa apparently was the ban, not you. I got banned. I got banned. So no, apparently it is an Osa ban that is coming through. Interesting. We haven't really got to see it today, but certain, especially on this map, she can be very, very strong. I mean, that hookah billiard attack, you chuck one of those shields on the hookah window, you can literally cut down through the rotate, cut off the push through that hookah door. I can understand why it's been taken off the board.
Well, I can also understand the Mozzie ban, because that is the most direct target ban towards Sykes you are ever going to see. He was cracked with the P10 Roni, which is unexpected since that gun was nerfed a little bit, but he was cracked with it nonetheless, and Arial Academy want nothing to deal with that on what is typically Mozzie's home territory, right? It's Coastline. You're going to have Mozzies running around this map and absolutely clicking heads, and Arial do not want to let that happen again.
I don't know how to tell you this, Jay. And Mozzie is Australian, and Coastline is in Spain. So
I
if any
know
map
that,
was his
but
home territory, it would be Outback. Look,
It's true.
I-
But Outbat sucks as a map, so there's that too.
hey, well, look, you're right, but you have no right to be right. You're not allowed. Okay.
Okay,
Look,
it's
we're getting
fine.
on into round one. Hookah Billiards, understandable. NKG, they're looking to do some damage. I mean, look, you got a Goya, you got an Alibi, you're running the Vigil as well. So there's a huge amount of misinformation game. There's a big lack of information available for Aerial Academy once they get in. And on top of that, they've got some pretty crazy guns in play, which, I mean, I expect this one to be a bit brutal.
Well, Ariel have had, it's been 5 minutes since the last map, 6 minutes. They've had some time to talk it over. And it's not like NOKTURNS are doing something that we've never seen before. Like, it's easy enough to counter aggression. I mean, obviously, it's hard to counter absolute gunners who just destroy you. But if you know what's coming, especially on a map like Coastline, maybe they'll expect the aggression here. They didn't expect it on Oregon. Maybe they'll expect it here, and maybe they can have a little bit more success on the attacking side. At least one can hope, right? Maybe they won't be caught off guard by that. Maybe that break was enough for them to talk it over. I know I'm just speculating at this point. I'm just hoping that Arial Academy can, get their feet under them a little bit, stay grounded, stay composed, and just not let someone like Sykes, who's now shifted over instead of the P10 Rona, that MX4 Storm, to let him tear them apart.
I want to make most excited by Frozen and Venatorial, obviously, on the Chimera duo. Finker and the Lion is going to make this a very interesting one for NOKTURNS to try and hold on and defend EE1D out. They've still got the 3 nano boosts as well, but Hypers, the opener here onto Lackey. Spiker pushing through towards Luggage, can't find anything, but there we go. The Chimera duo hitting in full swing. Slothy for 1, Slothy for 2. Takes them both out before he goes down himself. Already, only a minute played, and this is one of the most aggressive rounds we've seen today.
This one isn't out of the question, especially if you look at who is left alive. The big issue, though, is that Arial Academy have 2 full minutes and 7 drones to make this happen. If there was 15 seconds left, I would say Sykes has a fighting chance, but Arial do not have to rush this. They can make sure they know exactly where Sykes is sitting before they move an inch, and they've got perfect smokes on the coverage. Sykes now going for the run out and getting a very nice kill, taking down the coverage on the Billiards rappel, but Dami able to get the bomb down. That means Sykes now has to step up even more aggressively. Avoiding the stuns, Sykes will begin to push on in, and looks like you've got 1 in the luggage hall and 1 on that Aqua Balk. Sykes likely knows Aqua Balk is going to be a threat. Definitely check both angles. The question, will Arial expose themselves to him early, or will Sykes have to tease this diffuser? He's just hoping at this point for some pre-fires to connect, but if he wants to get aggressive, he's going to walk into a crossfire. Shoots the drone, goes for the swing, turns his back at the right moment, but Spiker was not going to let that happen. That right there would have taken a miracle to get both kills, and Hypers didn't look clean, but he got the job done.
I mean, who cares? I mean, the swing onto Dummy out on Aqua Balk, and this is why Sykes is a name to remember, apparently. I'm going to be remembering that one for the rest of my days, but it has to be said, one of the hardest, retakes for a defending team is that Billiards default plant. The number of crossfires you can establish, especially if you have that man advantage, is almost impossible to overcome. It takes a special kind of player to be able to nail those shots, nail those players. And you look at Arial Arise, they were disciplined in the way that they held that. No one peaked. No one was looking for the frags. Sykes had to come looking for them for that engagement to happen. And that was a big round for Arial Academy to pick up.
And that right there is as many rounds as they got on the Oregon attack. So already they have started things off well. I will not mention the detail that Arial did win the first Oregon round and not to win the next 5. I'll just leave that one out.
It's semantics.
Exactly, semantics. Maybe they can continue this success, because that one was decisive. It looks like they decided to put their aggressive caps on and just, we saw 4 kills found from them within 60 seconds. That is the kind of standard. That is the kind of pace I love to see from them, and I would love to see them continue.
Not a bad team ace either for Arial Arise. They did phenomenally to pull that one out of the bag. NOKTURNS, well, just how upset they are going to be about it, we'll have to wait and find out to get themselves set up with. But what is, almost the least preferred site now with the changes that have been made to Penthouse and Theatre. We're going down to the double bars.
Yeah, we're headed here to Blue and Sunrise, a site that is generally more preferred as that tertiary site. Kitchen, generally that secondary, or even sometimes the first. Honestly, we have seen an entire shift in this coastline meta just in what sites are being played ever since the slight rework that it had, because now Penthouse and Theater is somewhat viable, at least from what we've seen. And well, every single site on this map, it benefits from aggressive roam. Sykes the first, Lackey the
Oh my
second,
God.
Sykes on the third. A double kill for him in this round. This feels more like what we expected. A good shot there from Venatorial, but actually Sykes shooting towards Venatorial, shot the player behind him, getting a trade essentially, and well, making Venatorial fight this one in a 1v3. Now, going for the swing there from Slothy normally is fine, because at the very least, you're going to deal some damage to your opponent. But Venatorial is a Finca. That Finca boost, it actually recharges you. It no longer goes away. So once you heal yourself up, Venatorial is going to be a massive threat, potentially, for the remainder of this round. So I don't think we'll be seeing any more aggressive swings like that.
Not to mention also a 100-round box mag. Shouldn't need to reload very often, especially if she, Venatorial can play this one and find the ones and isolate the frags. Frag grenade going in towards that blue door, drops down the hatch as well. One more frag grenade remaining. There's still a minute 15 on the clock. So second nano boost committed. Venatorial healthier now, going for a swing, looking for the angle, can't quite find it. Not going to be inhaling any of that smoke, luckily enough. Repositions, tries to go for the reload, but figures better of it for now. There's still a minute in play.
Yeah, nade coming through, could find something, continuing to heal up, but being shot from left and right at the same time, plus a face full of toxic gas will make that Finca boost essentially worthless. But no more nades, no more time really, and well, not a lot of intel to work with either. Gonna continue to get sprayed down through the soft wall, just spraying and praying at this point, but this is looking like a Nocturnes round to say the least. Can't quite get that kill, and is gonna walk into more smoke, only to find that the round is over. Great adjustment there from Nocturnes. This time, the roam, rather than being quickly dealt with, was very, very successful, in part because it's very hard to roam on hookah and billiards when all of the attackers are on the rappel. This site requires you to actually enter the building, and Nocturnes exploited that to perfection.
I mean, look, I still admire what was attempted there with the Finca and the Lion, and they are going to be bringing it once again. Sykes is a different level of fragger. And, I mean, what? He took down almost 4 of them, if not actually all 4 of them, I believe. And the last one, the only reason he lost that final gunfight is he killed Frozen and then was traded out by Venatorial.
Well, here we are on Kitchen, and this pick does make sense. Going to Penthouse and Theater or Hookah and Billiards, both sites that roam is a little bit less. I would say there's a lot less chance of success on the roam than Kitchen. Is a good place to be. Just given the results we saw in the last round, what's worked, what hasn't for Nocturnes. Kitchen, a site that will require Arial to enter the building in some capacity more often than not from above in an effort to secure that vertical control. It is likely that we're going to see a very heavy Nocturnes roam, and Sykes at the helm of that roam yet again. This time, Exod and Slothy both switching to operators really just for the gun. Of course, Slothy can be invisible to the drones, but you've got Exod who's playing the Legion for that T5. You've got Pox playing the T5 and playing the Oryx. It's kind of getting out of control here on this defense, and Spiker will rein things in a little bit. A good kill there onto Sykes, who just got way too aggressive for his own good.
Yeah, Spiker says, look, that last one was free. You're not going to be getting away with that again. I mean, an Aqua run out is always ambitious, and I think Sykes knew that, but risked it anyway.
Dami now, his turn to see how things can continue to change under his watchful eye. I highlighted how he was not as successful as we would have wanted in that first map, so he'll be looking back with the vengeance here as he works his way through. Slothy, though, the next roamer in Arial's line of sight, he will continue to use this Vigil Cloak, but it's not going to work because, well, you can't hide from a gun, and the gun of Dami will connect, and it will land its shots true. Pox, the next player to get aggressive. looks to be really going for this kill, and yet again, now we're 3 for 3 on Nocturne's defenders, who are making dumb choices and they're dying because of it.
So look, you Nocturnes, equalize the round count, and you say, you know what? Let's just throw this round away. I mean, we had what? We've had 2 run-out attempts now. We had Slothy looking to get aggressive, full well knowing that there was a Zofia aiming for him. Lackey at least will get one back on a Spiker who was caught looking the wrong way. Scan coming out, Exod on the site to try and hold on. Dumb is one way to describe it. Questionable would be a probably more accurate way of describing this round so far.
Well, hey, the aggression has also gotten them back in the round, kinda. I mean, Lackey did run all the way back upstairs to VIP, challenge on a couple of players and get a kill. Well, now he's looking to just stand outside the site and do it again. Hypers walks in with no intel to work with and pays the ultimate price. But at least for Arial, they've got vertical control and they are doing wonders at eliminating Exod. The site essentially surrendered. Lackey knows that actually going to the site itself is a little bit too risky, so he has to roam around this map, but he will now reveal his position. So the remaining 3 attackers can just train on Lackey's position, at least train on this hallway and prevent him from rotating anywhere to get back towards this site. Now, Lackey will spot one player out and will eventually take care of Venatorial, securing a triple kill, but to win this round, he's going to have to pull it off not on the post plant, but he is going to need the ace to do it as well. Dami, the next player he's going to have to take care of, but he is going to find that Frozen is around the corner, playing off that contact, and close left, that's Dami, who gets a nice little double kill on the round, and the final kill for Arial Academy to now regain their lead.
I mean, just looking at the landscape, how vastly different would that round have been if Sykes hadn't run off Aqua Balcony and died, and if, well, Exod hadn't just sent himself out kitchen entrance.
Pox, I think. Yeah.
Pox, so that's the one. Too many X's. It's all apart. Yeah, Pox, if he hadn't sent it out service, like that would have been an equal round. They would have been able to take it. So, I mean, maybe just a case of Nocturnes getting a bit ahead of themselves.
Right, and I think that's why we're seeing them take the time out here. I think, maybe they were messing around a bit, and, Dauntless wants to step in, get the boys back on track here, and have them close things out in 2, rather than taking us to our decider map of, Cafe. I don't think anybody wants to go to Cafe, except for Arial Academy, obviously.
I'd love to go to a cafe right now. Not that cafe, but
a cafe and get a sandwich. That'd be nice. That'd be really nice. But it seems that Nocturnes will be talking things over and looking to maybe not do what we just saw again. But you mentioned, Lackey was pretty successful in that 1vx scenario, getting that triple kill in the end. You're right. What if we saw the same exact round from Nocturnes, just without what you called the questionable decision?
Without the intentional feeding.
Right. Right. Exactly.
I don't know. Honestly, it's one of those you're never really going to know the situation. It could still be Arial Academy set themselves up, get the plant off. But I mean, one run out. Like Sykes' run out, understandable. You can look to make a play. He's a great shot. If he hits it, that's massive. If not, well, look, it's an alibi. Utilities are down. But then for Pox to go and do the same thing, well and truly baited out by Hypers in that last round. Like Hypers knew exactly what Pox was trying to do. And unfortunately, Pox fell for it like an absolute fool. This time around, look, they've had the pause. They're coming back into hookah billiards. This is where, they did lose in that post-plant. Not for a lack of trying. Sykes very, very nearly clutched it up. But, it starts here. Nocturnes, they pick this round up. They carry it on, get the 4-2 half, and close the map out.
Right, but on this site in particular, I don't know exactly, if the full shift to super passive style is going to be the play. We kind of saw them employ that passive style in round 1, didn't we, Blue? And, well, we saw the results. Arial took it rather swiftly. They took control of the site, leaving Sykes alone. So maybe we'll see a bit of that combination pressure. Maybe we'll see some sort of blend between what we saw from Nocturnes in round 1 and what we saw from them in round 3. Some sort of in-between happy medium, because other than that, Arial did have their number in that first round.
Yeah, it's that sweet spot between hyper-aggression, which is what we saw in that last round, which didn't pay off at all, and coordinated defense. I mean, you can still be aggressive and defend effectively, and Lackey at the moment playing from luggage is looking to do just that. But again, it's a risky angle to be contesting with next to no way to retreat and so keep yourself alive. And similar position for Slothy right now, who audaciously just standing out in the middle of the site. He's prone in the middle of the floor and somehow still manages to get himself to safety.
He turns his back for a second, too. The thing is, I think getting up and doing that little spin has revealed his position, and he no longer has an ADS to support him. Wow, that nade is actually not going to get deep enough into the corner, and he swings out towards Venatorial. Oddly enough, Hypers allows that to happen, but it turns out Venatorial, well, he'll be able to win that fight either way. But now Sykes is going to step up. Here's Exod stepping up. A double kill now for Exod, as Hypers is also taken care of. Sykes, up above, just swings out on the window. I guess maybe not blue. We're seeing the full-out aggression again.
But it's this the thing. It's not outright aggression. They are not running at Aerial Academy and fighting frags.
True.
They're playing, I suppose the best way, and oxymoronically it would be aggressive defensive positions. They are aggressively positioned, but literally lying on the floor, holding a corner, holding an angle. They do find the kill onto Exod there. Like, I mean, Exod was prone on couch in Sunrise and managed to find a kill from that position. It boggles the mind.
Well, for Nocturnes, it works. At least for now, it's been working. It's run the risk of maybe getting too aggressive here. I mean, as you start to take these fights, that's when the problems start to emerge. And, well, a perfect nade from Spiker will make Pac start to tuck tail and run, and Spiker will happily shoot him in the back. And so 2 good kills for Aerial Academy means that we are all tied up in a 2v2. And with still 45 seconds to play, 2 drones for Frozen to utilize. No more EE1Ds, but still a plethora of utility if they can get this execute going properly. Now, Lackey is the only one, I believe, on the site. That's a great shot from Lackey. Sykes manning the hallway by Vase. He's not going to even have to lift a finger in that engagement because, well, Lackey handled it all by himself from that angle through the hatch. All up to Frozen now. 15 seconds remaining. He'll flash his way up the stairs, but he's got 2 players, both of whom can see it perfectly well, and they will both double swing, and that is an easy round for Nocturnes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the audacity to hold those aggressive defensive positions. Like, they were sitting in the weirdest spot, obviously looking to take the fight to Aerial Academy. But Aerial Academy just walked straight into the trap, fell at almost every single step. The only player who didn't really fall in that situation was Slothy, who had been spotted out, caught a frag grenade, tried to swing on Venatorial and was shut down. But every other frag that Nocturnes found was because they were holding some dumb angle in an aggressive position, and it worked.
Well, we're not seeing either team run away with this just yet. As much as we're talking about, well, that strategy from Nocturnes, it worked really well. The aerial attack in round 1, it was fantastic. These 2 teams are still neck and neck here. And no one's strategy has emerged as the be-all, end-all of this map. Everyone remaining relatively consistent here and keeping things close. Now, this map, it does, I feel like, generally go with that 3-3 split. That's generally what we're accustomed to. And it slightly leans attacker-sided, but right now, it really does feel, Blue, that we are on track for that 3-3 split. Just the way this one is progressing. Last time we were on Blue and Sunrise in particular, it was a pretty easy Nocturnes round, it seemed. But, you know, they can only go to this site once, and then we're going to have to see them change things up, and maybe that's where Ariel will find their success, too.
Now, this window, this mirror placement can be a deadly one. Yeah, that's exactly why. Thank you so much, Max, for that. The hookah window, if they do get info that this window is being played, if they can get any sort of information on that, you just hit someone on the hookah window. They don't have to pop it just yet. They can sit, wait for the confirmation, and then just spray. 9 times out of 10, you're going to hit your mark in that situation. Frozen, the first to cop a bit of damage, I would imagine, probably from Sauna or Kitchen. No, it would have been Lackey from Kitchen there. And unfortunately for Nocturnes, it really doesn't count for much because the nano boost is in play, but it's enough to deter Aerial Academy a little bit.
Well, they'll deter them for, you know, at least 30 seconds of this round, right? Ariel not making any over-aggressive attacking push, just getting their bearings and figuring out exactly where these Nocturnes defenders are positioned at the moment. Slothy tucked in the corner here in hookah, waiting for someone to maybe work their way on into this doorway. It does appear that Hypers feels that there is someone, at least somebody, sitting around the corner, and now he's going to confirm that with the Gemini clone. There should be a mute jammer or two, though, to stop that pressure, and that's why Hypers will not push in, and he will back off. An ADS will catch out that nade, but Dami, with actually his gun, will take care of Lackey, who's sitting over on the main staircase. A good fight to take early from Dami, and now he's going to take another one with the player sitting in security.
Sloth, that's a big kill on the Hypers, and with the 1 nano boost left, it's answered back as Sykes just falls, so NOKTURNS again at the disadvantage. Scan comes through. Somehow Slothy avoids being taken out there, just positioning, and he answers back, and Kylan says frozen. We're not having any of that today, champ. Minute 25 left on the clock, and somehow NOKTURNS have brought it back to the 3-3.
Oh, but Slothy is on incredibly low health right now and is going to have a hard time getting back to this site to actually support. It may just have to be all support from above, and that is not exactly what you want when Slothy is one of those players with that Nitro Cell in hand. So he's back on the site. Dropping down that hatch didn't seem to be too much of a problem for him, but if he just gets breathed on through the wall, well, he's going to be in a bit of a pickle, and especially when you want to get that C4 off, you can expect a flurry of bullets to be coming the other direction. That is not generally the place you want to be. Turns out the bullets are coming from above as Dami has retaken the position formerly held by the Mira, and Slothy has been dealt with, and now it's going to be up to Exod and Pox to hold down the site by themselves.
The SAS duo in play. Luckily, Exod running that MP5 means he can be a little bit more effective at long range, but the pre-fire will give up the goat. Spiker knows where he is. Somehow, Exod is able to breach that gap and get himself back into a position to contest Cool Vibe stairs. Fox there, and Exod looking to get aggressive, tucks himself in a T-hunt, but a frag grenade will make it harder to swing. Domi for a triple, but it's answered back. Fox has to clutch up, but no! The pre-fire from Venatorial will give ARIAL Arise Academy the round lead again.
Wow, that is really smart. Not for Pox, that swing was not smart, didn't have to take that fight, but for Venatorial, that was a very heads-up pre-fire. Thankfully knew exactly where Pox was positioned and dealt with him beautifully, anticipating the swing behind the mirror window, but that was really all Venatorial had to work with. It was spray and pray, it was pre-fire and pray, and well, the prayers were indeed answered by the man Pox himself. So ARIAL Academy, once again, they are maintaining this slight lead. You know, they started out with that good round. NOKTURNS brought it back. ARIAL have brought it back and now retaken the lead that they held in round one. Looking good so in their coastline attack. They did pick this side. They did prefer this side. But on their own map, NOKTURNS, they do look a little bit flustered at times, especially by an aerial attack that, you know, seeing how poor it looked on Oregon, see them shift things up to coastline here. It's an impressive turnaround, and I think they have found a way to deal with this NOKTURN defensive style that you and I both worried, Blue, would be a huge problem for ARIAL on this map.
Honestly, again, I think it's not quite utilizing the tools that are available. Thunderbird is in play and is incredibly effective on a map like Coastline where you are prioritizing that offsite presence. Get a few Kona stations down in key positions, keep your offsite players healthy, and you can actually contest going into the later stages of the round with a full health bar, given that it regens after, 30 seconds of cooldown. But no, NOKTURNS obviously sticking to the game plan right now. We are going to be heading to that kitchen service entrance site. And NOKTURNS, I mean, they want to get that 3-3 going into the half so that on the attack they can close it out.
Right, they really want to emerge at least tied, and it's all they can do at this point. But to do that, they're counter a push that is this time a lot more focused on the top floor. Last time we saw ARIAL less committed to this position, and they also struggled to take this position, and that's likely why we are seeing, you know, a 5-man, an onslaught of this push right away. You do have Slothy, instead of Pox actually manning this position on the mirror window, sitting inside of theater. That is going to be useful in a minute right now, but right now ARIAL are still focused on taking control of VIP from that main wall. They haven't done so quite yet, normally because you just have Lackey, you know, holding this long angle, just trying to provide a couple of bullets through the wall just to make them a little bit worried. But as ARIAL have now secured that control and have now secured a gorgeous nade right onto Slothy's feet. they open things up on this top floor entirely and not only take control of VIP, they take control of Penthouse, of Theater, and they're working their way over to the White Stairs where Lackey resides.
They were so busy worrying about VIP in that Hall of Fame position that they allowed Venatori to get into main lobby and find that kill with the fragment. Actually, no, it looked like he did. Okay, maybe I'm just confused, but either way, it's a kill nonetheless. And without Slossie on the board, no more magnets coming through, even if he had a couple left. Spiker on the hunt, establishing that vert. This site is well and truly compromised. If they want a chance at winning this, Sykes has to go massive. Lackey has to go massive. They have to find the pinch and find some big kills.
Right, some sort of top floor retake seems necessary at this point, but Dami is going to be aware of that. He knows the position that Ariel Academy hold right now is extremely powerful, is in such a good spot, and well, they're going to keep a watchful eye out for any sort of swing like that. Now, Sykes, he'll make his presence known, and he's going to walk into a death trap. Dami lying in wait.
What?
Dami, a miracle pre-fire around the other side, will take care of Lackey. I have no idea how that connected. And Venatorial will be sitting outside and have, well, easy way to deal with that last player exposed by the EE1D. A great half for Ariel Academy. The dominance we expected from NOKTURNS on defense was nowhere to be found. It's a 4-2 split for the Ariel Academy here.
Still a little confused as to how that frag grenade managed to bag Slot. He obviously pulled off the window and was playing a position that he shouldn't have been. But, I mean, a 4-2 half for Ariel Academy. 3 more, we go to Cafe as the decider. And Nocturne, this is their map pick. I don't know how you can justify looking as, you know, as uncomfortable as they did in their defensive half.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, you know, if maybe they came out of the gates and they swung too hard. They came out too aggressively. I don't know. I think maybe I've been too focused on this aggression, and there's other things going on that we're just not quite putting our finger on here. But what we do know is that Ariel Academy, at least on their attacking side, they had Nocturne's number, and they looked pretty composed, which is a marked improvement from Oregon, where they never really had that calm, that sense of control over the round, the confidence that we might expect from an attacking team of this caliber. But now that they've established that dominance on this map in the first half, maybe that confidence will continue here on to the second half. Again, this is an attacker-sided map generally, and those 4-2 splits we see are not uncommon, to say the least. But they now hold an edge, and the shift we've seen from the last map, it just makes me think that this is more than just a 4-2 coastline split, that we're seeing maybe a shift overall in who's control of this series.
Also question Pox on the Maverick. I think the least played operator I can think of on this map is the Maverick at Sykes. He's going to be hitting some nutty stuff right now. Staying true to form so far. He's going to be sprayed at just a little bit contested. But, I mean, audacity is rewarded, especially when you play like Sykes does.
I mean, really, it was Hypers who did go for a bit of an aggressive peek, and Sykes had some intel. They had a drone on him, most likely, and they dealt with him rather quickly. Another run out coming in from Dami. It looks like that aggression from NOKTURNS that they have kind of put to the wayside has, well, it's found it in the hands of this Ariel Academy defense. Couple of early swings, one of which is punished. The second, Dami remains unpunished for now. But as NOKTURNS continue to work their way into this top floor and take control of this east side, they're going to work their way over to the other side of the map, and in doing so, they're going to continue to find some kills. Lackey onto Spiker, the next one, leaving Ariel in a 3v5, kind of an awkward position on a site that, well, usually explodes into a flurry of engagements in those closing moments. C4 from below nearly takes care of Sykes, but he will remain with about 20 HP left.
This is where, you know, a Thinker pick would have been phenomenal right now for NOKTURNS. Keep Sykes in the equation, but that Nitro is huge from Venatorial. Could have been even bigger. Domi backs himself off, realizing that he may have bitten off just far too much X-side, looking for the lineup deep into Hookah, but won't find it, unfortunately. Lackey, look at that. The Twitch drone already into Billiards. That's going to be absolutely huge. Takes care of the bulletproof. Venatorial finds a kill on the Slothy, bringing it back to a 4 versus 3. So doable territory for Ariel Academy, but still backs against the wall here.
Well, you've got Got Frozen trying to not even give up an inch, just swinging back and forth on this reinforced wall, distracting these attackers as much as possible. Dami doing the same. Venatorial taking fights and winning them. 9 kills so far for the Thunderbird, but we'll know more in this round as Sykes on the long angle will drop to his knees, but not before getting a kill and shifting this one into a 3 or a 4v2, depending on if Sykes can be recovered. Now, Exod will push on up, but can't stop Frozen from doing pox in. And Frozen will actually get a second. This one just shifted into a 1v1. Diffuser dropped. Frozen knows where the last player is standing and will go for the swing, but Lackey was ready for it. Nocturnes will take round 7, a back and forth round, and well, throwing a little good night in there. I don't know if that one was deserved, but Nocturnes did take the round regardless.
You guys just dropped a half at 4-2. That's only your first. You still need one more to equalize it. Yeah. Sykes maybe hit some shots worthy of that, but look, Lucky, calm your farm, buddy.
Great attack overall there from Nocturnes, though. I mean, they approached decisively from the opposite side of that top floor, much unlike, rather, what we saw from Arial Academy, who preferred to go for pretty direct attacks, focused on repelling, focused on the hookah balcony, but this one more of an aqua-sided approach. Again, we never really saw the execute, Blue. It really just was on that roam clear. That's where we saw almost all of the fights, and then it was that skirmish between VIP and Billiards, with Nocturnes just winning out more of their engagements than Arial could muster.
Well, I mean, 4-3, Nocturnes have got the first. That's the key. You're going to start that march back towards equalization, and then obviously take the whole thing if you can, close it up 2-0. But Arial Academy, they're going to double down, go back to hookah once again here in the 8th. No significant changes that I'm noticing, other than, of course, no lesion coming in this round. It is instead the mirror instead.
But the mirror combines with that Thunderbird, and you've just got another lethal weapon, a form of map control that used to not really be available to defensive teams. The Thunderbird adds so much. Those Kona stations allows you to really just sit in a position and just take a ton of oncoming fire. It's not something you generally want to do as a defender, but when you're sitting behind a mirror window, oh my lord, speaking of the Thunderbird, Venatorial, now that one is worthy of the GN. That one, Venatorial just tucked Lackey into bed, read him a bedtime story, and maybe even sang him a lullaby, because that was a nice shot.
Sorry, I didn't mean it at the end there, but I mean, yeah, look, you can't get too far ahead of yourself, but Lackey calls the good night off the last round, then proceeds to catch one himself. 4 versus 5, Nocturnes. They are facing, again, that rather interesting setup, the window setup, the crouch hold, the left-hand side of the panel, but Hype is in the middle of the site. Catches it as well, and that's a nitro off the board. They take out Hype as one of the key parts of this Arial Academy team. And that's, I mean, within an instant, equalized.
Both teams, I mean, for the first time, we had an odd lack of movement. It seemed like that was the only quiet moment we've had so far, even though we're on our 8th round here. But, well, that quiet moment quickly ends. The sound of gunfire from Spikers, MP5K, means that, well, another kill has been found on the side of Arial Academy. That one is going to be on to Slothy. No more sledge on that rappel. It looks like Exod will be taking up that position, but Pox, in the meantime, has also been felled. Frozen on another. Really going pretty massive in these last couple of rounds. Exod now forced to really pull something back from this rappel. Lights up Dami, but can't quite finish him off, and with that, reveals his position, now making Exod quite vulnerable from the 5 different angles that he has to worry about. Venatorial, Frozen, Dami, all sitting passively now, not going anywhere, no more aggressive swings. Finally, a lulled moment on this defense. It's Nocturnes are the ones who are now forced to get moving, to get aggressive, and to take gunfights, because with under 40 seconds to go, not a lot of ground they have currently, but a lot of ground to make up.
Those Kona stations coming into play as well. You look at Spike, he's already back up to almost full health. He's got one as well, I believe. Spike's into Aqua, only has Exod to cover. They do have a Nitro Cell, in fact, 2 Nitro Cells. Venatorial as well, playing that bomb chassis and hookah. The tuck in, Sykes has to make it work here. The coverage needs to be big. Nitro Cell tossed in the wrong direction. The coverage, is it going to be there? It's going to be a kill for Sykes, but he had to pull off the plant to do it. 2 kills, has to find 2 more. He's not going to have time. He's got to go for the plant, the pre-fire. It's going to be enough. He's got 3 seconds. The spray, he's out of ammo. No, Sykes has been robbed by the magazine size.
Oh, the mag is so small, and he's punished by 1 bullet. Had he had 1 more bullet, that's a Nocturnes round. And it's troubling for Arial Academy that it got that close, given the advantage they held in those closing moments. But, oh my lord, that one came down to the wire. Nocturnes on that attack, they struggled that time at getting into the building. They made a couple of good adjustments. They got a couple of kills back, but then Arial Academy, Frozen, and Dami, and Venatorial, each of them getting a couple of very nice kills and just shutting down it looked like that transition phase of the round where Nocturnes were trying to set up for that push, set up for that execute, and it was just denied. And with those 2 kills, you can't really perform a good execute with 2 players. We saw Sykes just face-checking every angle. It was desperation time, and even though it became damn close, Arial still pulled it out, and they will maintain their 2-round lead. It's still 5-3.
Oh, I mean, that's heartbreaking. Sykes again with another massive effort for the team. Can't translate it into a round win. They're down 2 again. Arial Academy 2 rounds away from taking us to Cafe. It's beginning to feel eerily like we might get that decider coming through, Jay.
Yeah, right around the corner here. Arial doing exactly what they needed to. Even on Nocturne's map pick, they really have turned things around. And, you know, if we're looking towards that decider, I would honestly be a little bit more concerned for Nocturnes right now. Just given the way things are going, given how it seems that Arial have managed to figure out this Nocturnes playstyle. I think that translating over that to Cafe, I think it will translate. I think Arial will continue to find this success unless Nocturnes can, you know, change up this rhythm here, and they've got to do it soon. They're on this kitchen attack. They got to approach from above. They've got some mirror windows to deal with, and they've got some gunfights to win. Something that, you know, hasn't been able to be said for them on the last couple of rounds, where Arial have just been winning out in more engagements than Nocturnes have been able to.
Lackey in, sitting just tucked in behind the table. I still question Pox. He's brought Maverick, he's brought the Ace, which again really hasn't counted for much. Give him a Finker. Just chuck him on the Finker, something like that. And give him the health boost for the frag grenades. It's just such a great operator right now. Sykes for 2 though from Hall of Fame, and all of a sudden Domi and Spiker no longer a factor in this equation. Sykes is almost single-handedly ripping open the start of these rounds.
I mean, 13 kills right now, a handful of those on the entry. If we take a look at this one, he's going to take another fight and lose it this time. An odd fight to take, especially all by yourself, given that you knew exactly where Venatorial was positioned. The Gemini clone only coming out moments before. Should have waited probably for Slothy to be right behind, because now Slothy's got a couple of nades, both of which come up with nothing, and Venatorial will stay alive because of the lack of teamwork, but Lackey's there. Lackey's there to take down Frozen, who was looking the wrong way. Venatorial allowed to escape from that top floor, another mistake that Nocturnes have made here, and allowed to frag out onto Exod as a result. A 3v2, still favoring the Nocturnes attack, but now Venatorial, who is heating up in this round, is still left alive.
Corner station placement is going to be key. If Venatorial can get to them and heal himself up. Kadarian doesn't matter. He's just going to hit the headshot. Slothy's out of the equation. We're down to 2 versus 2. He's above. He's establishing the vert. Pogs. No. He's just jumped in as Venom was setting up the holes in the floor. Timing is a nightmare. Luckily, though, Lackey is in. He's going to be able to get the kill. He's going to go for the spray. Venatorial. In that main courtyard, they're going to go for the pickup. They're going to buy their time, look to play the numbers game. But that Maestro cam is feeding all of that through. Venatorial's going to have to hit some insane shots with that Spear 308, and the timing, it's not favoring him. Lackey spots the head. That's all he needs, the invitation there, and he slams it away. Back within 1 again, but Joda, these are getting far too close for comfort.
Considering that Venatorial should have been dead a minute and a half ago, that was especially concerning for Nocturnes, and it came way too close for comfort. I mean, we're far past the point of too close for comfort at this point. I mean, Venatorial, as I said, Sykes taking the gunfight by himself. I don't know what he was thinking. He was clearly riding high from a lot of the entry picks, just as you complimented him for his entry success, and then he just throws his life away by not waiting for his teammate. There were several teammates right behind him, just they were still droning. They were still working their way into the building, and Sykes was a little bit, he jumped the gun. And because of that, Venatorial was able to not only get the kill onto Sykes, but then back away, drop down the hatch, and leave. Something that would not have been allowed to happen had somebody else from Nocturnes been there. So, lesson learned. Nocturnes getting the round, so they've learned that lesson basically for free, but it came damn near close, and you can just see that Venatorial is heating up. 13 kills right now. Sykes matches with that 13. And even though Lackey's got 12, like, we're seeing a pretty big discrepancy in how these two teams are getting kills between them. You've got two big star gunners and the rest of the players lacking. And on the side of ARIAL Arise Academy, you've got everyone contributing, with Venatorial emerging as that number one.
I really do hate to harp on, but I just have to keep questioning, why the hell is Pox playing Maverick? Yes, I understand the M4 is a good gun. Yes, I understand he has frag grenades. But there is far better utility that you could be bringing into play to try and pair with it. Again, I'll say it. Damn it, I'll do it again. Finka. Finka's great. She has frag grenades as well. And she can heal your team. But, I mean, I feel like some of these rounds would be a lot easier if they just got rid of the Maverick. And, well, Lackey and Venatorial are going to trade. You take that if you're Nocturne, because Venatorial has been an absolute thorn in the side for Nocturnes.
Yeah, you do, but you've lost Lackey and you've lost your Flores so early in the round when you haven't got a chance to use those Rotero drones. That's a problem. Now, on the other hand, Venatorial has already put down those Kona stations. That is a job well done for a Thunderbird. As far as she's concerned, hey, good job. I think it's a little bit of both. Right, you've taken down Venatorial, your biggest threat on ARIAL Academy, but you've also lost so much valuable utility that you're certainly going to want back, especially when you're coming up against a mirror window. A lot of ADSs, a lot of smokes, and a lot of utility on the side of this defense. So Nocturnes will have to remedy that by just getting these frags and not giving ARIAL Academy just a second to breathe. Once they secure this vertical control, which they now have, they've just got to get moving, and Exide will do that, but not quite finish off the kill onto Frozen there. Another engagement that Nocturnes will want back.
Oh, boy! Spiker with the Nitro. Taking out Slothy in that Vert game has just been weakened again. Well, 3 versus 4. Those Kona stations already going to work. Frozen was tagged heavy in that engagement, but now he's got one under the belt. He's probably looking for more. Hypers and Dommy both overstimmed currently, and all Nocturnes can do is sit up on the second floor and try and find those vert angles. They've been denied almost every single step of the way. Frag grenades going in. Sykes with the Gemini trying to sneak his way in and get even just an inkling of where some of these defenders might be so they can make a play off it.
Sykes is just creeping on in, seeing what kind of intel he can gather. Didn't see much, and that may be a little bit concerning, considering where Nocturnes are both pressuring from now. Face full of smoke. Sykes is in a bit of trouble now in a C4. Oh, my Lord. That's a great shot. Now a nade to follow, but that one's going to get burned. Second one also burned, so also wasted. Frozen, who was kept alive because Exod missed his shots earlier, will clean up both Exod and Pox. Critical mistakes being made from Nocturnes, and ARIAL Academy are punishing them for it.
On the rented PC as well. I mean, ARIAL Academy are about to take us to Cafe. One more round in Nocturnes. I mean, this is Nocturnes' map pick. How is this spiraled so far out of control for them?
I think it's just mistakes, Blue. I mean, we've seen that round in particular was... There were so many things that Nocturnes would want back. Like, there have been so many things in the last 2 rounds, 3 rounds, where we've been like, oh, that's bad for Nocturnes, yet they managed to pull it back. Or, oh, that's going to be a problem, and it turns out to be a problem. That round right there we saw Exod have a free kill on Frozen, missing a headshot. And normally you don't count one engagement going the wrong way as impactful as it was. And sure, it could have, if Frozen was dead, maybe the outcome would have been the same. But Frozen did get those final 2 kills, and he made those Cool Vibe Stairs players unable to move, applying enough pressure. Not only the kills, but the pressure the entire time. It was all there. And that's the kind of thing that Nocturnes need to stop doing, because Ariel Academy have wisened up. They have, between Oregon and Coastline, they have just become a completely different team that is not only now capable of shutting down Nocturne strategies and beating them in the gunplay, but they are capitalizing on mistakes. Also not something we saw on Oregon.
I mean, I think it's almost even a case of Arial Rise Academy as showing a willingness to embrace change. The Thunderbird has been instrumental in the defensive half so far, whereas we didn't see Nocturnes lean into it. We didn't see much, the Thinker as well. Nocturnes haven't been able to adapt. They haven't been able to lean into what could be better suited for them. And that's a large reason why, I would argue, as to their failure.
I mean, look at Exod here, yeah. 1 kill right now, looking to continue this. Get something going, get more kills. Not happening just yet, though, as Nocturnes are going to be hindered from getting in the building at the moment. Ariel trying to use... Oh, that's a great use of the Twitch drone. Lackey able to pop the mirror window, giving Nocturnes more than a hope, giving them a real fighting chance in this round, opening things up and, well, forcing Ariel Academy maybe to reel back a little bit, opening up 90 control, allowing them to push in through Penthouse, in through Theater. A lot of these E1Ds have already been used, though. Exile using another, trying to freeze Ariel in position, and haven't come up with anything just yet. Still on this entry, got to be aware of Venatorial down below, who's got a C4, and if some intel comes the defensive way, that could end up with Pox in the grave in no time.
Well, Venatorial no longer an issue. Slothy takes him out, and we're having some minor issues with the spectate cam. It is what it is. Huh. We're just going to have to Rainbow Six radio it, I think, for the rest of it. There we go. Back onto Sykes. I've never seen that one before. That one was truly unique.
Hypers will now step up and get quickly shut down from behind. There's Slothy. Good kill there, pushing in from the Aqua side, and Nocturnes for the first time in a while now have an advantage to speak of. Spiker's still down below, C4 off the mark. Wasted piece of utility, and that is the final piece of explosive utility. But in terms of plant denial utility, with 40 seconds left, no better time to employ these smoke grenades. Behind it's Spiker. He gets one, and now is looking for the second. Tears Lackey apart, but oh no, he ADS's at the wrong moment and is dropped down in the luggage hall. Nearly won the round right there for Ariel Academy. At the very least, he'll keep their hopes alive. Next smoke goes out, and Slothy sticking this plant regardless, because that smoke is well off the mark. Sykes on the coverage, spots out Dami by Vase, can't quite get the kill, but can allow the plant to go down, and that is more than enough. You've got 3 other players to provide the coverage, and with only 35 seconds left, Ariel Academy have to get moving, and they have no time. Sykes will do it all himself, taking round number 11 for Nocturnes, keeping their hopes alive, but we are still on match point.
Final round regulation in the books here. Well, on the books now. Nocturnes need this one if they want that chance at overtime. And it's definitely going to be an interesting prospect to see if they can close it out there. I mean, just this is so much that has gone askew here. And from the looks of it, OT, Nocturnes will start off on the defense, which I don't know if I favor that. I mean, Ariel Rise picking attack first on OT, that's, again, going to lean into the way that they've been playing. They could take this away and send us to Cafe.
I think, wouldn't it be Nocturnes picking defense? Because Ariel chose...
If they did, that's concerning as well.
Right, because Ariel, I mean, this is Nocturne's
pick.
Ariel
it would have been,
his side.
Nocturne opted to go defense first in OT.
And Coming into the map off Oregon, I would think that makes sense. But, I mean, looking at this now, we have seen an attacker-sided coastline. And, yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, they're going to look back on that and probably regret that decision. But, again, they still need one more round to get their blue. I mean, we are still sitting here on match point. Aerial Academy 1 round away from taking it, heading back to Kitchen, where, well, we've seen Nocturnes fail to secure the vertical control before. We've also seen them succeed. So when this comes down to it, they just have to keep things tidy, replicate what we saw in that last round, and not allow the pressure from someone like Venatorial over here with Frozen in theater to be their downfall.
Well, we will have to see, of course. Nocturnes, I would imagine Dauntless is probably sweating just a little bit. Does not at all want this one to go to a decider. They want to be able to push OT. They want to be able to pick up the win in OT and deny Aerial Academy at the chance at redemption on Cafe Dostoevsky. But Sykes, the first to push in again, taking control of Sunrise, sees the Prisma, shoots it out. And, I mean, this is just powerful positionings being taken early by Nocturnes.
Well, they're still going to focus on this top. At least I would imagine they would still focus on this top floor, unless they've decided, you know what, it was so problematic last time that maybe we should just skip it and go more direct. Again, there's always the risk that if you go direct and you leave the top floor exposed or available to the defense, that they are just going to use the vertical control against you. And right now, well, at least Nocturnes will start things off with a kill. Hypers has been shut down all map, and he will be shut down on our final round of regulation. If he wants to make an impact, it will have to be in overtime if we get that far. But look how much progress Nocturnes have made in this round. They are up at the precipice of this site. Slothy just popped a mirror window, and they are looking to make a push far earlier than they ever have before.
This is a stunning read. They send Lackey to go and try and deal with the upstairs presence. Domi finds an angle, but Lackey's already found Venatorial, so things are quickly coming apart here at the seams for Aerial Academy. 4 versus 3 with just over a minute to play. It doesn't look like Nocturne are going to wait for that minute mark to make something happen. The swing, Slothy does lose out. Spiker tagged heavy, though, for the effort. They might just be able to finish him off in the next couple of moments. All 3 players coming in from the Sunrise Bar position. Spiker, they know where he is. Lackey as well, covering the cross from service, but he's been spotted. Bottom white stairs. Domi there for 1, but it's answered back in kind. Spiker alone on the site, not very healthy, but you look at the health bars on Nocturnes, not that great either, honestly. Sykes is going to have to hit some insane shots, and, well, he's the one focused on the site. Exod's in the courtyard, looking to try and make something happen. Sykes, he runs past where Spiker was sitting. The ping's coming out. They want that info. Exod, he gets shut down. Domi could single-handedly take us to Cafe right now. Sykes doesn't know where to look. The swing, the pre-fire is not enough. The information's not there, Sykes. Come on, buddy, you need to hit the shot. He might just go down to the electrification. Domi, he's playing a dangerous game right now, and he's going to win it pistol in hand. Aerial Academy, take us to Cafe.
Unbelievable. I was sure this was going to end in 2 the way Nocturnes played that first map, but Aerial Academy, man, did they ever adapt. Did they ever change up the way they played this game, and we are on pace. We are going to see all 6 maps today, ladies and gentlemen. Domi stepped up. We criticized him for a poor performance on map 1. Venatorial also not going insane, but look at the change that they made. We'll pull up the stats and when we get to that next map, and we will see, just the dramatic shift that this team has had, and it clearly worked wonders, because a 7-5 win over Nocturnes here, that's a statement and a half for Aerial Academy. Nocturnes, the aggression, the success, all of the great things we complimented them on Oregon, out the window, and Aerial Academy now take the edge.
I just don't know. Nocturne's pick, Frozen as well, playing. He's not at home. He's renting a PC to be able to use it at the moment, and somehow Aerial Arise still take the win. It is what it is. NA Siege, it always comes in 3s. Apparently, we always seem to go to a 3rd map.
Yes, we do. And before we get there, one more shout out to our wonderful sponsor, Mike and Ike. You can take your candy game to the next level with a pack of Mike and Ike Original Fruits or Mike and Ike Mega Mix. You can take the delicious, fruity, chewy flavors that can help fuel your game and power you up to keep playing at your best. You can power up with Mike and Ike, and frankly, I'm going to be doing that because we've gone 6 maps. I am tired, so I'm going to take some of these Mike and Ikes, and when we come back after this break, we have got our final map of the day, the final map of the week. It is Nocturnes. It is Aerial Academy going toe-to-toe. Map 3 of Cafe coming after this.
Hi, I'm a Spiker. I play for Aerial Rise Academy. So we were a pug stack, and our map pool was like really small because obviously we were a pug stack, so we played like 4 maps the entire time. But Dami decided to stop being mean and only play Val, and now we're gonna scrim, so our map pool should get better as SCS goes on. So between qual 1 and 2, Indy decided he didn't want to play, which actually turned out to be really good because we ended up bringing in Frozen. That took a lot of pressure off of Hippers and Dami, who were RGLing before, and now our attacks were like flowing a lot smoother. So everything was just kind of flowing a lot smoother with like the structure and everything with what we were playing. Honestly, most of the CL teams, with like their play style, they kind of play like really structured and slow, so I'm not really worried about it. I'm honestly mostly worried about like Mystic and Surf, who play like super aggressive and a lot more random, and that's gonna be like really hard to counter most of the time. I think Surf will be the hardest just because their playstyle, like how aggressive they play and how good their gun skill is. And especially Asian and Ashton have just kind of like figured out how to like play with that playstyle and their gun skill just like incredibly well. It makes it like really hard for them to play, especially with Ambi now too. Gonna be really hard to beat. Yeah, I'm gonna say TSM just because I beat them last time. Sure, they might have not been trying very hard, but it still would be like really fun to play them on LAN again and hopefully come out on top again. That would be really fun. I would say Vena he got thrown into WR with like a really bad position, and that team was like not built very good either, which is like a really bad position for him, so he didn't thrive very well. You know, he gets his job done, he does it incredibly well, and Wave Runner honestly just gave him a really bad rep. He should bounce back there, and he has been. It would be really cool just because like last time it was online, I played in it, and it would just be a lot more fun to play on LAN and like look over and just be able to see these players that like I've been watching since, you know, I was like 13, like watching them play, just kind of like aspire to be them, I guess, and like play against them, and it would just be really cool to play against them on LAN. Last show I binge watched was Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I went through like all the seasons in like 3 weeks. Incredible, one of the most underrated comedies, to be honest. Like everybody says The Office or Parks and Rec is best comedy. I honestly think Brooklyn Nine-Nine was. I said reviewing G Fuel. G Fuel is incredibly good. It's better than Red Bull. There's no sugar, no anything. It's really good. You should try it. Best flavor is Bahama Mama. Best flavor is cookie dough, just because, I don't know, the cookie dough in there is like really good. And then there's like the chocolate chip chunks as well. It's just, all around, it's just a really good flavor.
Welcome to the NerdStreet Winter Championships, featuring SCS6, a yearly open tournament series hosting the best players and teams North America has to offer, culminating in a community favorite, the Pro-Am. So let's discuss format. During the Winter Champs season, SCS6 will consist of 2 stages, where each stage begins with 2 open qualifiers. Once Stage 1 is complete, there will be an additional tournament offering 1 more qualification spot prior to Stage 2. Through participating in SCS6, players will acquire leaderboard points and cash prizing. The winning teams from Stage 1 and 2, as well as the additional tournament, will qualify for the Pro-Am. The top 2 teams from the leaderboard will also qualify. As we approach the end of the season, the final qualification spot will be determined through a last chance qualifier. The Grand Finals of the Winter Champs SCS6 will feature the return of the Pro-Am, where the top amateur teams have an opportunity to define their talent against the North American Pro League. But in the end, only one team will be crowned Winter Champs. Sign up today and make history.
B3, make that a 1v2.
2 seconds left. It's going to come down.
Favor making a third as he looks up. Faker, he finds the draw three. Stunning here from.
Well, we have gone the distance today. We are here on our 6th map, our 3rd map of this best of 3. It is Nocturnes, it is Aerial Academy in blue. And our 2nd map here of Coastline, it was, yes, back and forth, but it seemed that Aerial finally figured out how to counter this Nocturnes team.
Yeah, again, I think it was probably a case of Nocturnes working against themselves a little bit too rigid in the way they played the game, and it's definitely punished them. Aerial Arise showing they're a little bit more flexible, a little bit more fluid, and are willing to make those changes which could blow the map wide open. And look, I mean, Nocturnes picked this map. They wanted to go to the Coastline, and they really dropped the ball.
Right, choosing a map and then having it seem that like everything that worked so well for them on map 1 just kind of fell out of the window a little bit here. And I wonder, going to map 3, Cafe coming up next, are we going to see the map 1 Nocturnes or the map 2 Nocturnes? And are we going to see the map 1 Aerial Academy or the map 2 Aerial Academy? I have to be inclined, at least for Aerial Academy, to think the latter. They played exceptionally. Dami, you can see on the screen in front of you, going from the bottom of the board to the top, joining Vina with 1.31 rating, going nuts in the fragging department, going even on the entry, good cost, getting a plant down as well, putting in some pretty good numbers. I mean, Sykes, nothing ashamed of too, good rating, good work as well. But I mean, it was a strong performance from everyone on the Academy side of things, and they stepped up.
Sykes and Lackey both cracking a 1.5 rating, and they weren't able to close the map out. I mean, that is just horrendous for the mental. And I mean, look, they did. They really they gave it guts. They played a hell of a game. The frags that they were picking up were absolutely stunning, but frags don't necessarily mean game wins. You need to be able to play the strategy of the game as well. And I did say, yes, Coastline is slightly less strategically intensive as other maps, but that doesn't mean you don't play the game. You don't play the objective. And I think it all started spiraling out of control. I think it was round 3 where they were just running out and being stupid. They were running out aggressively. They didn't need to. They were playing dumb siege, and it came back to bite them.
Right, and I think there came a point in that map when they realized, oh God, wait a minute, we're not winning this anymore. We're no longer in that firm control that they thought they had at the beginning. And because of that, maybe allowing that to go one round too far, Aerial Academy quickly ran away with it. They quickly told Nocturnes, hey, we know what you're doing, we know how to counter it, and we've got your number. And you go forward to Cafe. I'd argue a map that kind of meshes the two styles, like Oregon, maybe that's a little bit off, but kind of meshes Oregon together with Coastline a bit, right? You have that fragging potential, but you also have a slow and potentially really methodical attacking plan. We could see a combination of the two things, hopefully a stronger Nocturnes and hopefully as competent of an Aerial Academy team as the last map, and we could see this one go the distance.
Yeah, I mean, it is sort of that nice mesh between the two. Flores being banned out here by Nocturnes, don't want to have to deal with him at all. The Roteros, I mean, we've already seen what they can do in terms of approaching a map and a bomb site in general, and Aerial Arise, they're going to be the ones to answer back. Thatcher, no real surprises.
Yeah, but Thatcher taken off the board. We have yet to see him in play today. A shame. Love those EMPs, but we're not going to see them whatsoever. On the defensive side, another potent threat that both teams struggled with on that last map was the Mira. And it's no surprise to see her banned here as well. Aerial Arise taking her off the board. And finally, that last ban, this is the one that could go a couple of different directions. Has gone the Wamai tonight, it's gone the Valkyrie tonight, but it is going to be that Wamai instead. So these bans, we've seen them before, staying consistent on all 6 of our maps tonight, except for the random Ying bans that Nocturnes wanted to throw in, but they finally decided to do away with the Ying ban, and they or the Osa ban, as we saw on the last map, and they will be sticking to what they know, going with more default stuff. And as we are here on this decider map, Nocturnes get the side pick because their round differential was stronger, given a very good win on map 1. So they will be starting out on defense.
The Valkyrie in play on Cafe could be a very interesting one. It's so much free information. We also see not just the Valkyrie, but you've got the Mozzie, you've got the Echo, you've got the Vigil. So there is going to be a significant amount of information available to Nocturne while they're also denying it with that Mute Mozzie combo.
Well, you've got that combination, and it's probably designed to set up a really good roam that is going to counter a top-down clear from the attack. But one thing, Blue, we've seen pretty consistently from attacking teams today, that on this kitchen site, those top-down attacks are not default. Sometimes these teams have been going for bakery direct approaches, very focused, very decisive attacks, and they run the risk of giving that vertical control to the defense, leaving it in the hands of the defense. Arial Academy strikes me as a team that wants to go over the whole clear, especially now that they've identified you've got Sykes on this top floor spawn peeking and getting aggressive. But who knows, at any moment we could see this Academy team just push in and get aggressive. I mean, look here, it's Dami. He's already on this prep doorway. At any moment he could push in.
Like, he's still covering above, and then you got Exod just inside the doorway as well with that shotgun to upset any sort of significant rush play. Still only 30 seconds in. Dobby as well, going to be hit with the Sonic Blast, so decides to back himself off for now. The Yoko drones are going to be key utility to watch this round.
Yes, so it looks pivot here, even though we've, been focused on Dami and seeing how he's approaching this. The rest of the team will enter from above. They do want to go through this full clear. They do want to make sure everyone is forced out. Sykes is really that most extended roamer at this point, given the time we've already had in this round. Some of these Nocturnes defenders have already started to back on off. It looks like Slothy was a bit more extended than I thought, and more extended than his own good. He's already going to fall to a kill that Hypers, I don't even think, needed to find at this point. Like, Nocturnes just kind of handed that one to him yet again. Now it's about Lackey. Now it is about Sykes. Are they going to fall victim to the same mistake?
Drones coming through, so they obviously have the idea that there's someone there. Lackey as well, flushed out of his position, has to drop the hatch and get the hell out of dodge. Sykes pulling a little bit further back down the red stairs, not going to forsake them completely just yet. And Lackey looking to rotate around, find a more effective position to close out the round.
Well, it does appear that Arial are proving quite versatile, which is good to see. Starting with a little bit of bakery pressure, now branching out to a lot of vertical pressure, and now they still have it in them to shift to two different attacks. Do they want to approach kitchen and from the bakery side, or do they want to approach it from the back freezer hall side? Right now, they're fragging out, so it doesn't seem to matter. Lackey, in a desperate attempt to bring this one back, will throw his life away. He'll get a kill, or get almost the kill onto Spiker. Drop him down to very low HP, but he'll leave Pox alone, and Dami, a long shot all the way from Whiskey Bar, will do Pox in. That's a flawless round.
Look, I'll be honest, if I was Nocturne right now, I would pause as well. I don't know if necessarily it has everything to do with Slothy disconnecting there. But, I mean, how? I mean, you dominated Oregon. You then just miss out on overtime on Coastline, and then get flawless in the opening of Cafe. What is going on in the Nocturnes camp?
That is a great question. Obviously, the timeout, hopefully, it can restore them to what they were. I'm not saying I want them to win, but at least I want this one to be competitive, because at this rate, are you kidding? A flawless round on attack when Nocturnes asked to start on defense? Not only that, but that attack, there were so many areas where that attack could have failed. That attack, it walked into the strategy that Nocturnes were asking the attack to. They set up that roam. Every single operator was designed for that type of clear that Arial Academy did, yet it worked beautifully. Problems in the Nocturnes camp, yes, but my oh my, Arial Academy, that clear was so good that even a setup designed to stop it could not.
Well, Slothy back. Time will carry on as we head into the 6-pick phase. 6 maps today, Jonah. This is now my 5th best of 3 this week, and I have more going into the weekend because I hate myself and I'm a sucker for punishment. How much of that do you reckon? So we got a full 3 maps. We almost went overtime on coast. Realistically, there should be 0 series fatigue for Nocturne. But do you think that might even be kind of why this is happening?
Yeah, I think that's a possibility. I mean, I think just so much speculation at this point, and I just need I need Nocturnes to give us an answer. I want to see them make some cohesive changes, some big changes, and I don't mean, oh, maybe slightly backing off or slightly playing more forward and roamy in around. Change up your operators, change the way you want to play these sites. Surprise Aerial Academy, because we are now on, you know, a streak here. Yes, it's only been one round. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but we're on a little bit of a run here where Aerial Academy seem to be taking Nocturnes apart, and it doesn't seem too difficult for them, I'm going to be honest. That last round, are you kidding me? That one was quick. It was, yes, it was a flawless round, and well, Aerial looking to continue that once again.
I mean, Pox is almost determined to do everything and anything but what I see he should be. Throw him on the Thunderbird! Like, this Echo did nothing in that last round. The Maverick in the last map did absolutely nothing. Give him Finker, give him Thunderbird, add some longevity to your lineup. Because, I mean, all respect to the guy, he's just not contributing much.
Well, these cameras will always be a contributing factor in the round, as a Valkyrie is almost essential every time you play it, but looks like Aerial Academy saw through a possible adjustment that Nocturnes were looking to make. They saw through, okay, let's be more aggressive, and they countered it with a beautifully placed Claymore. It's as simple as that. Frozen thought ahead, and Lackey got destroyed. Quite a turn of events since he said goodnight in chat in the middle of the coastline. I think we all know that. But, yeah, Aerial opening up. Good pick to start. Already looking good.
Look at the yokai positioning as well. I want that early information. I mean, you get to shoot at the default. Little will you expect a yokai drone to be sitting right there to replace it. Sonic Blast ready to come through. And you can... I mean, Aerial Rise, I was going to say it's hesitation, but it's not even. It's just respect being shown. They know full well what Nocturnes are capable of, and they don't want to give them the opportunity to utilize it.
Well, you can see that the rest of Nocturnes, they are no longer going to play that aggressive game. They are going to stay on this site, barring, of course, the one player down below who's trying to use those impacts, oddly enough, instead of a C4 to find something going. A bit of a bizarre play to have Sykes below without a C4, but maybe the hatch play is what Sykes is relying on here. Not going to spot out the head, just narrowly. So, I mean, we're off by a pixel here, but a perfect nade from Venatorial. I mean, that does not need to be pixel perfect. That's a frag grenade, and that is another 2 kills being found the way of Aerial Academy. Sykes finally returns to this top floor, but maybe it is just a little too late, trying to deal with the air jab and now getting aggressive, but the plant's going down in the meantime, and well, somebody's got to step up. Pox, no yokai drone in sight, no frags in sight for either defender, and it's a 4v2 with Aerial Academy holding the edge yet again. 40 seconds, and okay, there was a yokai drone the whole time. Now he'll use this to stun rather than deny the plant. Can't even stick it to the ceiling, and I mean, it feels like Nocturnes are falling apart here. Venatorial gets another one, but Pox can't do anything, and it's another beautiful round for Aerial Academy.
2 rounds, a single player dropped for Aerial Academy. Nocturne, I just don't know. There's only so much you can make it in this situation, and they're not really making much of anything. I genuinely am speechless. I don't know what to say in this situation because nothing they are doing is working. It feels like they're their own worst enemies right now.
I definitely agree with you, Blue. In part, like, I think that, you know, even if this were the stakes were lower and the team they were playing against was worse, I think the mistakes would still be emerging. But I mean, the beauty of this Aerial Academy attack and the way that they have transformed, I mean, transformed completely from map 1, something worth mentioning. several times, because we are seeing a team coming out and taking care of a very similar defensive scheme from Oregon. The approach is roamers extended on the map, hunting for frags. The result is the opposite. Arial Academy know what they're dealing with, and they've been able to deal with it so perfectly for 2 rounds in a row. And NOKTURNS cannot let this get out of hand. Just earlier, we saw a defensive-sided 4-2 Cafe, and right now, NOKTURNS have yet to win a defensive round on the side that they prefer.
When you look at our first series of the day, and the reason the first half was so hard was because of how telegraphed the attack was. And now we're seeing NOKTURN has just been telegraphing since the start of Coastline. Arial Academy have been able to read into it and capitalize. They are playing the better siege, and I think NOKTURNS know it.
Well, here comes Hypers. Is he going to open things off well yet again? Not quite, because Lackey gets the edge on him just a bit. Gets the jump on him there, and we'll get Lackey's first kill of the map. NOKTURN's second kill as a whole will be onto Hypers here. So progress made from NOKTURNS. Sykes, the next player looking to make similar progress. A forward position here on the stage itself. Dami reaching charge on the other side. Met by Sykes, maybe catching him a little bit off guard here, but Sykes cannot finish off the kill, and now he's got to be quite careful. He'll swing again, and he will take care of Dami, but Spiker shutting down Slothy in the meantime means that, well, we're pretty close to even. Just kidding, you've got Exot in play. He'll whip around and finish things off here quickly for NOKTURNS. Venatorial, the last player standing with 1 HP to his name.
1 versus 2, so not, impossible for him to be able to pull this off. Does have the frag grenades. But you look at Pox's position in pillar, just watching through towards mining as well. They're not even going to try and pick up Sykes. They don't care. Pox spots the ankles, shoots it out, and NOKTURNS finally get on the board, but after a much unneeded slog.
Took me a second to even notice that was a reading room defense, because all of the action occurred there on the top floor, with Arial failing to really get much done at all. A complete shift, and finally seeing that NOKTURNS return to defensive dominance. Another example where Arial just did not have the right idea, did not have the right pieces in place to complete the puzzle that was more NOKTURNS aggression, just more and more and more. I mean, the play we saw from Slothy there, bold stuff pretty consistently from this defensive team. And while we're seeing it punished, when it goes punished, it works. It's just about, is it getting punished more, or is it getting unpunished more? Just playing the odds at this point. It's not what you want your defensive setups to be. That's not a great route for long-term success, but it's what worked for NOKTURNS in round number 3, and maybe they can continue that.
Around the board, it's a start. Not at all how you'd want that start to play out, but it is what it is in the situation. Kitchen service. My brain's still stuck 2 maps ago, which is saying something, because it's been a long day. Round 4 underway. I think Arial Academy will be a little bit more hesitant after that last round to take those aggressive stances and push that limit that they did in that previous round. But NOKTURNS, again, they can't just limit it to this 1 round. They need to keep this momentum moving in their favor.
Well, the momentum, not sure if it's going to keep moving yet, but I am confident that the defenders are literally going to keep moving all over this map. You just see them hunting for kills. They are desperate to get the traction back in this map, and I don't think that's a great sign, Blue. I mean, they are literally sprinting all over this map. Still 30 seconds in, and they are hunting for kills. They are going for spawn peaks. They are playing. I'm not going to say it's unrecognizable to the team that we saw on Oregon, but it's unrecognizable to the team that I expected to come out here today. That's for sure. Lacking composure, lacking discipline. And Arial, when exploiting that is when they find some success. So to see if they do that yet again, we turn to another bomb site that NOKTURNS have had some trouble on defending. Is that a C4 that just came up? Yes, Sykes is going to burn a C4 already. Wasted. coming up with nothing. He will get a kill for his troubles, but he's quickly traded back. Hypers as well will get another, but little does he expect another Nocturnes defender to be on this top floor, considering we are so far into this round, and Kitchen is the bomb site. Pox as well, playing like a monkey, and it will pay off because he gets that other frag, and Lackey actually able to escape back down to the site, frozen at 1 HP. This situation favors Nocturne yet again, but man, it is looking pretty bad for them. I mean, they are throwing everything they know out the window, and they are playing like just absolute gunners, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In round 4 it works.
Honestly, who's drawing up Nocturne strats? Like, Oprah, you get a kill, you're shooting. It's just unhinged. It's the only way I can describe it right now. It's a pack of wild dogs looking to go in for the kill, which should not be working. Like, this is some casual nonsense, but they're about to equalize the round count.
Yeah, unless Dami can pull something off ridiculous here. I mean, Lackey is pretty low already, but Pox and Exod both full HP. He's walking into a crossfire. Actually, 3 players holding that same angle, and Nocturnes will indeed bring it back. We're tied up at 2.
So a piece, which sets up, you know, the proving grounds. We end up 4-2 either way, or 3-3, and the brain is just slowly degrading. I don't know if I could call this one way or the other, because you got, I mean, Arial Arise a great start to the map. They do take some big rounds, and then Nocturnes just drop all pretenses, start swinging everything, playing the numbers game. I mean, that push onto Cocktail, we saw, I believe it was Slothy go down, but he had a teammate on his shoulder, so the trade came back through anyway.
Attackers need to locate and
This is the playstyle that Arial Arise should be familiar with.
Well, I mean, Arial have lost their ability to counter it, right, for 2 rounds now. Nocturnes, it troubles me to say that, I mean, they've identified that this strategy is working, which is not what you want to see. This full sprinting around the map, just looking left and right. I mean, oh god, are we going to see more of the same in these next 2 rounds? Of course, we're on this top floor here, so Nocturnes cannot win this round based on their sheer ability to run around the map and cause chaos.
That's what
theoretically
they
could.
They would be a team to prove it, especially the way they've been playing the last couple. Yeah, look, Sykes and Pox looking for aggressive. Like, they're looking to aggress from Piano. Sykes looking for another spawn peak. He's not going to be presented with it, but if he found something that, just what does it do to the mental? What, honestly, the thing I'm most intrigued by is what sort of mental state are these teams in right now?
I mean, if it echoes mine, it is fatigued. It is
fatigued, hungry, and confused.
Fatigued, hungry, and confused. Yes, that would sum it up. I mean, maybe they could pull something out. It's late for all of them. I know that they're here on their 3rd map after 1.5 sweaty maps. The first one was considerably less so.
Oh, it is very humid in New Zealand right now, and we're in summer, so I've been sweaty for all 6 of them.
Well, oh man, I mean, when is this rhythm going to change? Are we finally going to see, you know, a human round again? Are we going to see Nocturnes play a defense like a competitive Siege team? That'd be refreshing to see, but
what?
Did he get drone hole?
He got killed through the drone hole by Hypers on the rappel. This is what we've come to. This is what we've devolved to in the final map of the day.
Unbelievable. I mean, that is, you always know the drone hole's there. We don't often see that kill actually landed. Usually it's a shot or 2 before the player sitting in Cigar tucks tails and gets the heck out of there. But he won't. Exod gone, and Arial Academy, finally, they'll get off to a good start.
Look, I think it's too early to call it a good start right now, but they found Exod, which is a step in the right direction. Sykes' drone is feeding a lot of information through a well-placed Nitro. Could be huge. Unfortunately, Pox doesn't place his where it needs to be. They still have the info. The swing out of the drone is just going to confirm. Sykes, a big Nitro from him could change the momentum. And Venatorial, face first, across the room, into the wall. Slothy bags another one. And this is, again, it's not overly cohesive. It's not overly structural. But it's working.
Yeah, and they've switched the momentum in this round. I mean, it is now a 3v4. Arial Academy on the back foot. They're going to have to recover this diffuser, and they have to worry about the now swarm of Nocturne's defenders pressuring them from every single angle. Now, one answer is found by Dami, but he's going to have to find 3 more on 1 HP with 30 seconds left and no intel to do it. Not looking great for him, as his position is constantly being pinged, and a quick headshot is found by Slothy to finish out the round for Nocturnes, and they will not only recover the momentum, they will now take the lead for the first time.
Oh dear. Siege, 3 mappers. There's only so much the mental could take, so I suppose you have to stop using the brain as much as possible to try and keep brain function active. It's like, closing programs on a PC to keep your computer from overheating in the midst of summer. But right now, final round of the half, Nocturnes. I'm so confused, Jonah. How are Nocturnes potentially about to finish the half 4-2 in their own favor? Like, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but they could, despite how this map started.
They could, yeah. It's very confusing. If you saw the way, just 2 rounds ago, the way they played that, you probably heard it in the way I was talking, but it did not make me happy. We saw a team that just throw logic and reason out the window and just go nuts, but it didn't even look good. It wasn't the good nuts, it was bad nuts. It was bad. That's what we saw from them. And they have used that to their advantage, chalked the mental of Arial Academy somehow, and emerged on top. And yeah, they're 1 round away from possibly making this one 4-2. This was the site they were able to secure last time. They managed reading happen. They made this site happen. So, why not 4-2 half? It is very possible.
Siege is a different beast, honestly. It is, at the end of the day, a very, very different beast. But right now, look. Despite the best efforts of Nocturnes, Arial Academy do have that chance to equalize going into the half. They're bringing everything, the kitchen sink, trying to throw it at their opponents to equalize and give themselves the best shot at picking up the victory here. 2-1 in the end. Castle barricades in play, going to make their job just a little bit harder with Venatorial on the sledge. They can just call them over, clear things out. Right now, it doesn't look like we're going to see any overt aggression from NKG. But Exod playing cigar shop with a Mute Jammer. I believe that's picked one up as well. This time, not going to be killed. Oh, no. Oh, my. I thought he was going to pick up that same position he died in the last round. That could have been embarrassing.
Well, he will not be the first to fall, but Sykes will. It's his turn on a silly aggressive position all the way on the stage to die. Dami claiming that kill, continuing to heat up after his performance on Coastline. And now it's Exod, the next to get into a bit of a pickle. He'll get lit up to 1 HP and he'll fall to his death, but thankfully, he's only fallen to his DBNO state, and Pox is there to pick him back up on his feet. And, well, you know what that means. If your player's back alive, time to swing more and get more aggressive, says Slothy as he peeks his head up on the white stairs, and he will back off and now re-aggress now that the nade has come and gone. Taking an aggressive position, and once again, another risk, but another nade likely to fly on the other side, and he will get lit up and fall back. Now going back up the stairs. Got a C4 onto Dami, but Slothy finally dropped. Venatorial claiming that kill. Hyper's not finished off just yet.
Where was Hyper's looking? They knew a play was there just a moment ago. And he's like, no, surely. No one's dumb enough to swing that. Slothy says, just hold my beer. We're going to go in for the push. 1 minute in which to make it all happen now, though. 4 versus 3. But you have Exod running that M590, and it's such a great gun in these clutch moments, as well as Lackey. They've got a bit of a crossfire setup should that push come down. What says Pox? He's off in the middle of nowhere, playing towards Dark, out in Pillar. A flag from here could shut it all down.
Nobody moving just yet, though. No flank, no aggression from Academy. 35 seconds. They know they're going to have to move at some point, and their first move is to drop down into Pillar. So Pox will still sit calmly behind all the way by tables here. Now he'll go for the swing. Trigger discipline is there, and he drops the diffuser. He knows it, but Spiker is there on the coverage, something that Pox did not know. So 2 players remain. Diffuser now recovered. It's going to be all up to Exod, who gets deleted up top ropes, and Spiker shuts him down. It's all up to Lackey, who is down below and cannot stop this plant. Spiker secures it. Now it's a post plant in the 3v1. Lackey's going to have to pull out a miracle here. He likely suspects there's somebody covering up above, so that's going to be his first mission. Retake and try to get something going, and he gets the prone player. Hypers caught sleeping. Now Lackey can use this to his advantage, but both players have since backed on off. One outside the snow door, the other sitting in pillar. Lackey, he knows he's been hurt up top, breaking the barricade. He's got some pings to work with, but the thing he doesn't have, Blue, is time. He has 5 seconds to get this diffuser started, and he cannot do it as he is thrown across the room and finished off by Spiker. It is a 3-3 half. We are neck and neck as we flip sides.
Just try to make sense of everything. And I can just feel the aneurysm in my brain growing as I try to process what is going on in my screen. Look, it is what it is. It's 3-3 going into the half. NOKTURNS, they hit onto the attack. They could look to do some real damage here, but ARIAL Academy have proved, if nothing else, that they're a bit of a wild card, an unknown entity here, because, I mean, yeah, the players themselves are known, and they've played in various iterations of different rosters, but they are taking a team, NOKTURNS, a CL team, and a very, very capable CL team to the absolute limit. And it's not for, you know, they don't have the best strategic approach to the game or the best mechanics. They have unpredictability. NOKTURNS cannot make head or tail of what ARIAL Academy are doing from round to round.
And the brilliance of it is ARIAL Academy have been using that to their benefit, right? They're not just doing the same thing over and over again. I guess you could say NOKTURNS have been employing a similar tactic. We've seen them mix up, like seriously mix up defensive strategies. And we have seen seriously mixed results. And that kind of makes sense considering we're at a 3-3 scoreline. It's where you can expect to be if things have been so back and forth on a map like Cafe. So now that we switch sides, we can kind of restart, see how ARIAL Academy can put something together on the defensive side, and see if NOKTURNS have it in them to attack this map.
Honestly, like, the only analogy I can think of, it's like Neo standing there before Morpheus. Morpheus says, you know, you can have the red pill or the blue pill, and Neo just punches him in the nose and steals his wallet. That's what this feels like.
I would love a deeper explanation of that.
That was in the director's cut. Don't worry.
Okay.
It was only screened in the Southern Hemisphere in Australia.
Oh, of course. It's a special thing. I mean, just slugs him outright.
But I just feel discombobulated. Like, everything on paper says NOKTURNS should be the ones winning this. It should have been a reasonably easy one. But ARIAL Academy, they're just playing their siege, and they are literally equal on the decider map going into the defensive side.
Well, we see now everyone from ARIAL, or a large part of this defense now, looking to get antsy, right? We can see them moving around. They know something's coming, and that something appears to be a bit of a cocktail pressure. Not necessarily a cocktail execute just yet. A little bit premature in the round to get there, but Slothy has worked his way as the Buck, skeleton key in hand, down into reading room, and that tells us one thing, that Cocktail is about to become Swiss cheese. The floor of Cocktail, at least, is about to be full of holes, because more often than not, that's what Slothy's plan is going to be here. Force those Cocktail defenders out of position, get some players on those east side rappels, and look for some frags. Now, ARIAL Academy, they're doing what they do best. They're hiding up top on those counters.
Right
Slothy
there.
can't quite spot him out. It's close with Dami, but he still won't see him just yet. Now that we're under a minute, it seems that, well, these fights are going to happen, and the first one goes in the favor of this NOKTURNS attack.
A reprieve. It's exactly what they need. A kill like that. Frozen playing a dangerous game, dancing on the ice, ironically enough. And Slothy's just going to continue chipping away at that floor, meaning that there is no safe haven up on Cocktail for any of these defenders to be sitting on. That's a terrifying prospect, especially if you want to make sure that NOKTURNS don't walk away with the win here. Slothy is doing a great job throwing that utility, making it impossible for whatever defender in that position needs to hold it. And going into the final 20, Jonah, this is looking dangerous.
Yeah, Pox, he's got to go for that plant soon. I mean, the time is ticking away, and he is still outside on this rappel. Great nade from Sykes, and that is exactly the cue that Pox was waiting for. But don't forget, Frozen is still here. Scorpion in hand. Gets one. SMG11 gets another. Now, Pox gets this diffuser down, but Venatorial still has a C4. And Hypers has a shot, and it is right there on the mark. Arial Academy survive another and take the lead.
Classic Morpheus nose punch energy right there. You thought they were about to make it work, and then boom, right between the eyes. You're stunned. You don't know what's going on. And yeah, unfortunately, that is the way Siege goes sometimes. You're not aware of your surroundings, and you are punished for it. Arial Academy get away with daylight robbery in round 7 to put themselves in the lead going into the half, and they can ride that momentum to take this series 2-1.
Oh, I don't know if we should get ahead of ourselves there, Blue. Everything we've said has been, I mean, it's just been completely turned on its head. We've just been seeing an absolute mess. And I would not be surprised if Nocturnes continue that pattern by, going back and forth, taking these attacking rounds. But who knows? I mean, we could see, we haven't seen a ton of Nocturnes attacks that have been amazing, right? On Oregon, they attacked like 3 times, and they ended up winning that, but it was a majority defense. On Coastline, we saw them struggle on the attack, so not a ton of attacking practice, you could say, for Nocturnes tonight, and they need to be on point, because not only are they on attack on this decider map, but they are now in lost the lead. They have lost the tie. Arial Academy up 4-3 and are headed towards Kitchen. What's interesting about this site is we've got a possibility for a lot of roam, at least on the Nocturne side. When they went here, we saw a lot of roam, but we've got a completely different operator lineup on the side of Arial Academy right now.
Oh, boy. I mean, the terrifying prospect is, if Nocturnes lose this, the team that they have to verse is Wichita Wolves. And actually, you know what? I'm just going to shut up. We thought Nocturnes were going to win this one easy, and all of a sudden it's just an absolute mess. So who knows? Who can say for sure who wins that? And you can see maybe a bit of that creep tilting into the minds of Nocturne. Exod lands the air jab onto the barricade. The nitro cell that was placed by Hypers earlier pops, but not finding anything. But they still had to commit 2 air jabs onto that small bakery window.
Yeah, the utility game, I'd say still probably favoring Nocturnes now that you've got that wasted C4. But, well, utility or not, you've got some frags now popping off the board here. Losing your Echo is bad. This stage in the game, you cannot let that happen. But trading it for the IQ is, well, no big deal. After all, the IQ is the specific operator designed to counter the Valkyrie, designed to counter the Yokai drones with her ability to see them with her IQ gadget, or IQ scanner. So, technically, going even here, but you've lost a lot of post-plant denial, or plant denial, rather. A lot of post-plant retake ability that you would have had Hypers had his C4 as well. So, under that 90-second mark, both teams return to a standstill. As Pox uses that breaching torch as best as he can, getting some sort of angles going over on this big bakery side.
I have to say, it's probably my favorite SCS PSA. Losing your Echo is bad. And, well, unfortunately, it doesn't seem to matter for Arial Academy, because they've just found 3 quick frags on the fly, and now it's Sykes alone. He's going to find the first back onto Venatorial. The Yokai's a complete irrelevability right now, because it doesn't matter. They don't need it. They've got the numbers, and they can play for the trade. Sykes does take out Hypers, though. That is where things start to become concerning. The big thing, though, no diffuser in hand. He's going to have to play this one purely off the frags if he wants a chance at closing it out. One in coat check, tucked into the corner, frag grenade. Frag grenade, that could bounce in the right direction. Is it going to hit? Dommy takes some damage, but Sykes doesn't quite know. He sees him, he knows, but Dommy hits the head. Arial arise. 1 round away from series point.
Oh, they are so close, but yet so far. I mean, yeah, that's 2 rounds in a row. Starting to bring out this defensive dominance. No indication yet that Nocturnes can attack this map, but we got to wait and see. We got another timeout coming in here. I think Nocturnes have already used their timeout, so I presume this is Aerial or
I think
Academy's
that
timeout.
would that not technically have been a tech pause because Slothy had DC'd?
That is very probable. And
we'll get
it would make a ton of
confirmation from
sense.
production. So they're the ones that make that call. We just talk smack about the players.
Gotcha.
Haha, big brain. I called it. Survey confirmed, so I can't be wrong.
I mean, there you go. Overlord Ferme. He's got the answers for us. But this is the time where I guess Nocturnes are the ones who are looking for the answers now. They do not have a Ferme in their ear who tells them everything they need to know and guides them like a amazing, gentle mama bear. I don't know. Through the night. They don't have that. They're gonna have to rely on their coach. They're gonna have to rely on each other. They're gonna have to rely on their ability to adapt. And hopefully this timeout is enough for them to do it. The 60 seconds up, I mean, they're gonna have to quickly jump back into the action, and against an Aerial Academy defense who just smoked them, who rolled them and smoked them. Yeah, we're gonna see some pretty big adjustments here.
Okay, look, I'll put this one to you, Jonah. So you're dauntless in this situation. You've just called the pause. Your team is down 2 rounds on the deciding map in a best of 3, having just lost your own map as well. What are you saying to the boys to try and get them back into it?
Oh god, that's tough. That is tough. Let's see here. So obviously, words of inspiration, that's important. Gotta hype them up. But you also
also instill fear.
Right. Also instill fear. Listen, I think there's not one thing, and this is what makes a coach's job like Dauntless very, very hard. There isn't one thing that Nocturnes are doing badly. It's a lot of things done kind of wrong, right? Like maybe it's they're getting tunnel vision on one attacking plan, and they're allowing themselves to be caught off guard by, like what we just saw there, some swings from small bakery when they're focused on big bakery. I mean, that's not unheard of. It's just aggressive, and Nocturnes didn't have something there to stop it, right? It's putting Sykes alone on the whiskey bar side of the map while the rest of the team is in big bakery. Coordination problem. Maybe it's that too. And maybe simply you just gotta get a better plan going into the round. A lot of different things that could be going on, and that's something that you get a better idea of if you're in the comms. You hear, the reactions, you hear who's at each other's throats. Is there somebody who is just making it in a toxic environment? Who really knows? But what we do know now is Ariel, again, they hold that 2-round lead, and they're looking good. So I hope, Blue, that maybe that gives some sort of answer to your question. I wonder if you have any ideas.
Honestly, the biggest problem for me so far with this Nocturne roster is the lack of flexibility. It's always the same operators, bar maybe 1 or 2, and it's usually Lackey who's the one switching around between those. There are currently, in the current state of Rainbow Six Siege, there are operators who can fill sort of those similar roles. Yes, on Cafe you require hard breach. Does it need to be the Thermite, the Hibana, the Ace? No, it doesn't. You have secondary hard breach gadgets right now. And in fact, you can have 2 on each operator that runs it. You've got a buck guaranteed. Why not bring something like a Capital? Something that also runs that secondary hard breach gadget. So you have 4 options to create holes. You've got the utility still. You can still make things work. Because, I mean, Nocturnes, they do find a couple of kills to start round 9, but they keep locking themselves into these situations, which, I mean, if they'd opted for a little bit more flexibility, probably would have felt more comfortable.
Well, at the very least, they can be comfortable in this round. 2 big opening picks, removing 2 big C4s from the board here. Frozen still has one, and he will rip that one and send it up towards the ceiling. While it will come up with nothing just yet, it will be Dami to come up with a kill. And there's a C4. Finally detonated, assisted by some intel, likely from those black eye cameras. That is going to down, but not quite finish the twitch of Lackey. If he's recovered, this will be a 4v3. Nocturnes will still hold this edge, and it does look like that's going to be possible, but, well, more than that, probable now that, well, Exod picked up a kill onto Frozen down below. But Dami is still on the hunt, and he picked up that kill. Sykes, though, shuts down the Jaeger, and that's going to leave it all up to Venatorial, who's channeling his inner Nocturnes, I guess, and just running upstairs in an attempt for a bold retake. Let's see what he can do. All he can do, I guess, is just get spotted out. He'll get cut down to 1 HP, and now all he has is a toxic smoke and hope. He has 15 seconds to delay. It's possible. A couple more smokes to thrown out there just to get extra damage here, but you're going to have Sykes now rotating all the way around just to hunt for the frag. It pays off, and NOKTURNS coming off the timeout. They will get at least one round.
Now, to double down, get a couple more going, but I mean, yeah, look, what do you do in that situation? You're Venatorial, you're in a 1 versus 3, you've lost a lot of health in that engagement and Cocktail. I mean, what, you maybe dump a canister onto that 90 door as well and then run the hell away down White Stairs, but even then, it wouldn't have really done a heck of a lot. Up to 3rd floor once again. I mean, Arial, they still have 1 round to push to map point before things start to get a little bit hairy. Obviously, if NOKTURNS get it, they will equalize, but I mean, they still have the advantage. They still have room to move.
Bar and Cocktail, the site that ARIAL Academy will be heading to next. Seeing this side of hand, both teams, and with mixed results. NOKTURNS on the defense, they just love to charge head first into the attacking team, just like sitting on stage, taking gunfights. Now, as the attacking team, I'm assuming they're going to be aware of such aggressive plays, and I suspect why ARIAL Academy will not be bringing out similar aggression. We will see a similar C4 heavy lineup. Hypers, Frozen, and Venatorial all bringing out nitro cells, actually throwing those nitro cells early. Accidentally, I assume, from Frozen. We'll see. Nope, he's just going to continue to throw that. I don't know if we could take a look at Frozen's POV right now. But he is just spamming that thing around. Is he going to continue to do it? No. Okay, he's going to go back to what he should have been doing, which is placing down these Mozzie pests and trying to catch any drones if he can.
I mean, look, I can understand. I do it myself as Goyo because I'm like, yeah, it's a shield. Hit the secondary utility button, but that's a nitro cell. Either way, look, he's just looking to have a bit of fun. They know that they have the lead. They know that they have some room to breathe. Right now, NOKTURNS, they want to get themselves the equalizer. But for whatever reason, they just seem to be lacking.
Here are a couple of shots coming out from that Pixel player, I believe. Just as a couple of drones work their way into the building. Good drone economy from NOKTURNS so far. Only lost 1 as they've begun their entry here. Very good place to be, but now those drones are starting to be used a bit more heavily and starting to be spotted out. Spiker, that's your Pixel player, will now be forced back into bathroom as the shield remains up, but a nade will now come in and quickly remedy that without much trouble. So usually rocking that FMG9, you can rely on the shotgun of Venatorial, I suppose, for your on-site destruction that you need. But the smoke, also an unusual operator to be holding that position. Generally, you want to protect him for a little bit longer. Use those smokes a little bit later, and that is likely why we are already seeing him back up down that white hall and return towards the near protection of his teammates.
I mean, the best advantage so far that NOKTURNS have garnered is that no one's dead at this stage in the round. They still have full 5 players. They still have the majority of their utility and enough health that they can actually start to contest should things get a bit hairy later on in the round. But even then, ARIAL Academy in these 50-50 situations when the coin toss does happen have been able to come out on top, and NOKTURNS, they just feel tired.
Well, despite all that fatigue, they're now going to be gearing up for what looks like to be, a push towards this west side. They do have Slothy on the Heaven Repel, and as we've seen, this position can be incredibly strong when done well, but he's got to worry about a jump out. He's got to worry about somebody trying to get aggressive and just shut him down because they know how powerful this position can be. A nade from Slothy. Both nades will come up with nothing, so now he'll just go for the full send and the swing in, but Venatorial denies that outright. Now, Pox, a quick plant attempt, but also shut down by Venatorial. Hypers lines up 2 more to follow. Exod, last player standing, against 5. He'll pick up 1. 10 seconds, has to pick up 4 more, he'll get 1. Now he needs to find 3. There's a 3rd. 2 more to go. 4 seconds left, though, and he needs to go crazy, and that is not going to be allowed to happen with Spiker sitting prone around the corner. A valiant effort, but that means ARIAL Academy will win the round, and not only that, they will be our first team to move on to match point and series point.
So, Jonah, if you do me a quick favor, remind
Sure.
me what the round count, the match score was for Oregon again.
7-2.
Nocturne win their opponent's map pick 7-2. They then lose 7-5 on Coastline, and they are one round away from potentially losing here on the decider, completing 2 full reverse sweeps. But instead of the maps getting shorter like they did in the first series, they got longer.
You don't think I noticed that?
NA Siege.
Yeah. But I mean, again, if you're
If
talking
nothing
patterns,
else, at least they are getting themselves prepped for Tier 1 NA Siege, because everyone knows that NA stands for Near Airport, just so they
That's
can
true.
get home faster.
yes, okay, some NA slander, okay, it's understandable. You know, you're entitled to it. You're subbing in at the last minute. I'm giving you some leeway here.
What are you going to do? Come to New Zealand and stop me?
Dude,
Nice
I
try.
really want to go to New Zealand. I would love to. I just gotta.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, I just gotta get there. It's just a long way. It's quite a long way. But Nocturne's not a long way from making a potential comeback. Not as far as New Zealand, at least. But you mentioned those patterns earlier, Blue, and well, that is something worth mentioning, because if you look at Coastline, this was our same score line, and Nocturnes were only able to get 1 round. Couldn't quite complete the full comeback to send it to OT, and they'll be looking to remedy that here. Of course, we just saw Hypers go for a very bold early spawn peak, but nobody from Nocturnes will take even a bullet, and Hypers will back off. Smartly so. Doesn't want to risk, especially on match point, losing this what could be the final round of the series. Nocturne doesn't want to risk anything either. Even Exot, patient, waiting for his team to drone out this map before really taking a step and actually taking a stab at maybe getting any opening pick on this top floor.
I mean, you touched on similar momentum between Coastline and Cafe, but the most significant difference being that at least on Coastline, it felt like Nocturne were contesting some of that momentum. Here on Cafe, it's been Aerial Rise. They've been the ones dictating the pace. They've been the ones determining that momentum, and Nocturnes will be the ones struggling to keep up. So, look, I mean, I would 100% respect and love to see them take it to overtime, but the possibilities of that have dwindled since the half.
Well, and you can see Aerial Academy setting up for what they know is going to be this full map clear, but Nocturnes are taking their time on this. They've been waiting for Lackey to get in position. Understandable, as he is the Jackal, and you want any extra intel that you can get about the position of these roamers. But let's just take a look at the map right now as a whole, and just guess how many roamers you think there are going to be, Blue.
A lot. No.
No, there's going to be none.
Yeah.
They've backed off all the way. They've already backed off. And Nocturnes have still taken so much freaking time to clear out this map. They've got 60 seconds left, so that's fine. They've got some vertical pressure starting now. That's all well and good. But without these frags yet, and without really clearing out this first floor at all, on match point with no room for error, they are really going to have a lot of trouble getting in these last 50 seconds. They have got to get a move on.
Honestly, it's Aerial Rise feel like they are letting Nocturnes do this to themselves. A magnificent frag grenade from Syke shuts down Domi, who at the moment is one of the standout players. Spiker as well, going to take a significant portion of damage as he tries to deny the VIP entrance. Frag grenade deep into VIP isn't quite going to take him down, but Pox shuts down Hypers as well. So they are dwindling the numbers. Slothy into sight. This is a much better round so far than we've seen from Nocturnes in a long while. It's down to Frozen. Oh no. No. He could still deny. He's going to stop Pox. He's got 10 seconds. He might be able to make it happen again if they don't identify where the Yokai drone is. This could be over, and no, unfortunately, it doesn't matter because Frozen is going to regress through that service doorway and Slothy finds the kill. But again, you said it, Jonah. This is exactly what happened on Coastline. They got the 1 round and then it was over.
Well, we said that. We're just asking for a 15-round banger finale. I'd love that. We've come this far already, Blue. Let's see it out all the frickin' way. Go to 15. Give us some good action here. And that round certainly did. Nocturnes, we were criticizing them for taking a long time and not quite understanding you know, who was on that map and when, but then they just flipped a switch and dominated that defense, not losing a single player until those last few moments. I mean, a near flawless round, an exceptional attack. And the beauty of it was that when they got to that second floor and began getting that vertical pressure going, they didn't waste any time from that point forward to then pressuring on that first floor from that white corridor and from that table's window over by Christmas, right? They had so much pressure going on all within 60 seconds, and that is what was so impressive. They really showed that they have good coordination. We just have to see it more often, and not just at the end of the round, and not just at the beginning of the round. We've got to see it during the whole round. Nocturnes can just chain a couple more rounds like that together. That is where they find success. That's where they're dominant. That is when they will beat this Arial Academy team.
Honestly, this almost feels like a Canadian bank heist. Like, you got the people you're robbing helping you load the money into the van, and they're saying thank you. You know, this is. We're very sorry that we took so long. Honestly, I'm just looking for Nocturne. Get aggressive, get angry, make something happen. Because right now, I mean, even that last round, it just sort of all fell into place. It wasn't because they did anything decisive to make it happen. They just won their gunfights. It's just part of the game. Arial Academy, they've been taking risks over the last couple of rounds. It's on Nocturnes to capitalize and shut them down.
Well, the waiting game continues as Arial Academy seems to wants to figure out where Nocturnes are pressuring in from. Who's going to make this first entry, and which one of these roamers is going to make that first challenge? Hypers challenging somebody on that white stairs window. Good flash coming out from Exod as well, but he will think twice before continuing to aggress. So wait for the support of his teammates as they work their way through the map. And Arial Academy, they're going to make a little bit of an adjustment here. Also, they're going to back off this map, and they're going to do it very, very early. They saw how long Nocturnes took to begin the vertical pressure even after they backed off in the previous round, so they will continue that theme here again. But Nocturnes, I suspect they're going to get a move on a little bit quicker this time around.
Yeah, they're slowly ramping up and looking for that positioning into the site. Scans coming out. We do hear a couple of explosions. One of the nitro cells deployed by Venatorial. Now, unfortunately, not going to find much of anything, but you look at the positioning again. Arial Arise have hunkered down. They've all pulled back down onto the first floor, looking to set up those angles to be able to actively contest Nocturnes once they have positioned themselves to go for that execute. We see the bulletproof cam EMP come into play. I don't think it achieved much of anything, but this frag grenade again from above. Nocturne, they have the positioning, they have the setup. It's about executing and making the victory theirs.
Ooh, nearly a kill onto Hypers. Exod from above almost had a kill that could have opened up this entire first floor for this Nocturnes attack, but without that kill, it's going to be 45 seconds, and it's going to be a 5 versus 5 when we hit this first floor. Arial Academy, they are not giving Nocturnes an edge right now. Compared to last round, they are holding this down. They're not going to budge. Couple of nades now flying in. Another one coming in from Slothy. That one comes up with nothing, but Dami, he's the one to come up with something. Exod, good night. He's gone. 8 kills to his name, and that will be no more unless his team can pull something out. Lackey will start what could be a comeback, but a couple of really good shots on the side of Arial Academy will mark that is all up to Pox. Hypers shutting down Slothy. 10 seconds left, and Pox, riding with the hopes of Nocturnes on his shoulders, needs to pull out a miracle. He gets one, but that is all he will get, and the 3-map series finally comes to a close. The final round of regulation. Arial Academy take down their CL opponents. Nocturnes will move on to that elimination match, and Arial Academy move on to the winners. Looking good tonight.
I mean, honestly, it's like the song says, it's about drive, it's about power, it's about hunger. And, I mean, Arial Arise, arguably the hungrier team in this matchup. They wanted that victory more, and they made it happen. They put in the work, and I mean, results speak for themselves in these situations. A 7-5, once again, 2 maps in a row, Arial Arise are able to deny Nocturnes overtime.
What a way to finish. What, I mean, a nail biter again, but Arial Academy. I am still in awe at the transformation that we saw from map 1 to map 3. It was dramatic. Dramatic transition. Getting 2 rounds on Oregon, a map that everyone should know well, getting rolled and smoked, and then coming out onto the next 2 maps and making Nocturnes look like the silly ones. That takes a lot of skill. That takes a lot of patience. It takes discipline. And it takes a lot of the qualities that we were complimenting Nocturnes for having on map 1. But then Arial Academy show that they have maybe a little bit more on those next 2 maps.
You want to know the craziest thing out of all of this?
Sure.
So Nocturne actually end the series with 1 more round victory than Arial or Arise do. And it's 17 and 16 in rounds taken throughout this best of 3. And I don't know, to go from a 7-2 victory, which was very, very dominant, they dictated the pace, to losing a lot of that dictation, they weren't the ones driving the entire map, but still driving the majority, to losing all semblance of control completely in Cafe. It's the deterioration of one's mind, I suppose, as they play more and more Siege. That's concerning. That is incredibly concerning.
Yeah, and it's something that hopefully we're going to take a look at, when we take a look at the stats as well in just a few moments when we pull those up. A lot of changes, like I said, between those first maps and the next. I got to highlight Dami in particular, stepping up in a huge way, going from riding the struggle bus to taking that struggle bus and riding it to Moneytown, okay? In the next 2 maps, he was insane. Venatorial was consistent, Hyper's consistent, and that's the kind of thing that a team like Arial Academy need to continue to do every single week. It's good stuff now, and we'll see how they continue doing that going forward.
Look, it's a win. It's a hard-fought win. I mean, Arial or Rise should be absolutely ecstatic. They battled. The war of attrition that they had to face today, and to come out on top. Nocturnes now have to go on and face Wichita Wolves, which, I mean, talk about a brutal matchup to have to fight for your life in this tournament.
All right, well, we've got Frozen joining us for this interview here. Frozen, as we get you here on screen, what a way to win. Frozen, first of all, welcome to SCS. It's good to have you. You guys put on a hell of a performance. How you feeling?
I mean, all things considered, we really shouldn't have won this game because I am literally in another country playing from whatever this is. So I don't know how laggy this is for you. But,
very laggy.
Okay, that's great. But anyway, yeah, I'm on vacation. We got Rappy here, we got Magnet, we got Lava, we got Crow, the boys.
Hey.
So, we had a fun time. We got the energy up, and it was actually a lot of fun to play.
That is amazing to see. Glad you guys are having a good time. You clearly gave us a really good show. I mean, I got to ask you a couple of questions, then I'll let you get back to celebrating with your friends. Map 1, frankly, you guys looked lost. You come into map 2 and map 3, and you completely turn it around. How did that transformation happen?
Well, Sykes played Mozzie on map 1, and that wasn't ideal for us because he likes Mozzie. And then, as well, we also kind of don't like Oregon in general, or at least I personally don't like Oregon. I feel like my calls aren't that great on it. So, yeah, we haven't played in a while, warm up, I don't know. It is what it is, but it worked out.
Yeah, well, is there something in specific you guys worked on to come out in that next, we saw clearly a completely different team. It felt like a different team. Is there something that you put your finger on other than banning the Mozzie? Is there something that you said that you would change?
Honestly, not really. We are more conscious of them flanking every round, but outside of that, we mostly just took the first map to warm up. Obviously, we won I think we won the first 2 rounds, and then, I don't know what happened, but we started off pretty strong on that map, but we just fell off. So we kind of just okay, reset. We haven't played in a few days. Let's just go into the next maps. We're literally not even supposed to win, so who cares?
Well, clearly, Nocturnes are going to care about that loss you delivered. The final thing I'll ask before I let you go and celebrate, next game, you've got to play Surf in this winner's match in your group. Talk to me. What are you feeling about that one? Chances?
I mean, all things considered, we kind of have to go into it in the same way as our last game, considering I'm still here. I get back the day before that game, so there's not a potential second interview with less lag. But Yeah, I mean, we're kind of just gonna have to play it by ear again. Like at the end of the day, we are a pug stack who formed like right before quals, so we're gonna try to play into our strength with that, and obviously use my skill sets as an ideal to kind of like guide everything if we can. But yeah, like everyone on the team is super talented, so I'm not really too concerned. I think we'll be okay.
All right, Frozen, appreciate your time. I'll let you go celebrate with your friends, and hopefully see you next time.
All right, see ya.
All right, peace. Bye. Oh, well.
How
Seems like
is
he's
that,
having a good time
how is
up
that
there.
the storyline that the two teams that didn't quite get the full practice they wanted walk away with the win today? Like,
Unbelievable.
you know,
Frozen
we'll just go for it. Let's just send it. Let's go.
Let's just do it. I mean, hey, it works, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of SCS, and when you unite these T3 teams with, you know, what are generally T2 talent with T2 experience, everything goes crazy. It comes this formula that you never really knew was possible to make. Obviously, we just talked to Frozen. He didn't have the best performance of the day, but he's been playing those supportive roles, going with that 0.77 rating. Nothing too bad. And overall, these are your full stats. You've got Frozen, who's pulling in with that 19 and 28 overall, playing that Lion, playing that Alibi as well. We saw him tearing it up on that. And really putting on a performance. It was Vina at the top. It was Dami. It was Spiker really coming through in the end. And even those Sykes and Lackey put on incredible runs. Just take a look at those ratings. Those 36 and 21 for Sykes. It really was ARIAL Academy who came through at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it just speaks volumes that, I mean, Sykes and Lackey finished the end leaderboard on the top. Both of them clear of ARIAL Arise. But just how significant, how big those second and third maps were for ARIAL Arise. I mean, Ben, 29 and 23. Like, that's nothing spectacular. He's only sitting at a +6. But those 29 kills, especially the ones on Coastline, I mean, he was on another plane of existence almost. Some of those kills that he was hitting on Coastline were just bonkers.
Let's take a look at a bonkers play. Let's take a look at the Mike and Ike play of the day. Let's see what we got cooked up in front of us. I'm not exactly sure. We saw a couple of pretty flashy plays today. We saw Lackey with some good ones. We saw a lot. Blue, what do you think?
Oh, I think it might be the Lackey 4K. That was huge. That was such a big round. I could see that one being the play of the day.
All right, well, we'll have it cooked up here, and it looks like we've got something from our first matchup. We've got Bry, his play. His
4K.
top floor retake. This is big. You remember he comes upstairs and he just tears apart everyone on this top floor. Whitlock, he had no idea that Bry had already retaken. You can see the players below, and he relays that call beautifully to his teammate, who eventually, actually himself, he actually finishes off that kill, the double kill from above. And then I think this is when he drops down and just tears them to shreds.
I mean, yeah, it's just the sheer ability to pull off something like this. He finds himself in the 2 versus 4, brings it down to the 2 versus 2, loses his teammate. And then Mikey, he's just had an amazing day. Unfortunately, couldn't pull out the win. But for Bry to step up and go toe-to-toe with a player who is, I mean, the guy was on a hot streak. To go toe-to-toe with a player who was hitting his shots, he's firing on all cylinders, and come out with the win, massive. I can understand 100% why that was played today.
Yeah, I think Mikey dropped, what, like 19?
19 and 9 on that.
Yeah, going absolutely insane. With that play of the day done, Blue, it has been an absolute pleasure to cast with you. Our first time casting together, and we've had quite a day. I mean, it has been quite a day. 6 maps going all the way, and that is our final day of SCS for this. But next Tuesday, December 14th, that is when we return, and that is when we've got those elimination matches. That is when we've got those winners matches, all leading in to those deciders, and again to those elimination matches, and to what we will eventually get on the playoffs a couple of weeks down the line. But Tuesday, December 14th, that is when we will be back, and we will be hopefully with some more incredible siege. We saw a ton of crazy this week, so I cannot wait to see what we have down the line. Thank you for tuning in tonight. It's been a pleasure to have you with us, and we'll see you all next time. So long.